that brought me alive. Going around like monsters, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. Took my hands without an alibi. Smoking gun, you got me on the run. We know that will come. We're out up till dawn, but how can I hide it without an alibi? It's a lover's fight without an alibi. Took my innocence. I can't wait no longer. I'm playing with the monsters. Everything that brought me alive. Going around like monsters, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. Took my innocence without an alibi. You gotta notice, hey, I'm falling in love. You're feeling something, hey, you cannot control. Just in time you came, and you changed all my perspective. Just in time you came, and I love it, I love it. It's so great to have in my life, make me feel so lucky, yeah. It's so great to have in my life, make me feel so lucky, yeah. Feel so lucky, yeah. Feel so lucky, yeah. Feel so lucky, feel so, yeah. Feel so lucky, yeah. Feel so lucky, feel so, feel so lucky, feel so lucky, feel so, feel so lucky, feel so lucky, feel so lucky. You gotta notice, hey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the PKL League. I'm your host, Panda, and here today with me I have Zed. Zed, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. A little tired, but of course, aren't we all? Going into, hump day of the week, we are having a pretty good matchup here. We have FroggyStyleSun, who did win their game last week. I do believe that was versus Insomnia. And they are playing Infinite, which this is their first game in the league so far. So we don't really have much info on them, but I was surprised by FroggyStyleSun in the best way possible last week. How did you feel about them?
I don't think I casted them, did I?
Yeah, you and Kimpton casted that one, actually.
I have the short-term memory of a snail. I do not remember that.
Totally fine, totally fine. We did see their ADC pop off with the very interesting name. I believe it was
It
I have
burns one
to
IP.
P.
It
Yeah,
burns
it
one
burns
IP.
when I P.
I
Yeah.
remember that game just because of that user.
Of that name, yeah, yeah. He is back, as is the rest of FroggyStyleSun, and they are looking to collect their second win in a row and maintain that top position in the league. I think it's gonna be a banger. Yesterday we had a fantastic series. Wasn't even casting, and I was just on the edge of my seat the whole series. So I think this one should be really well.
Yeah, and I really want to see how OK Infinite decides to start out with a bang. Like I want to see how they play. I want to see what team comps they decide to pick. I want to see their individual skill levels in lane. I cannot wait to see all of it. Because there are some other teams that decide to say we don't care about team compositions. We just want to outskill the enemy. And I want to see if OK Infinite decides to do that or they decide to play for team comp.
Yeah, we have seen I will say some struggles as far as drafting is concerned, and more of a skill expression type league in the fact that your solo laners kind of just take over the game than like designated team fights. Not to say that we don't see good team fighters within the league, just this is what has been leaning for some teams and winning games for others. So
yeah, and I'm looking at some notes here, and I do see that I do remember FroggyStyleSun's bot lane absolutely popping off with the Ashe that one game. I absolutely loved it. I cannot remember for the life of me how the rest of the team did. I just remember that game because the ADC's name.
yeah,
But hopefully they can give me a decent size refresher this game or these next couple of games, and I would love to see how the rest of the team plays. I want to see them play around bot. That's what I personally want to see. Strong side bot.
I'm inclined to agree with you with how well they performed last time, but I do want to point out that we had a substitute mid laner for FroggyStyleSun last week who ended up getting an MVP award on the Yasuo solo kill on the Malzahar, and then did die first blood the next game, but managed to bring it back and ultimately help his team win by winning the rest of the lane. But as we sum all of this up, we do have what seems to be a banger on our hands, and we're going to get into draft here shortly. I do think, FroggyStyleSun is blue side, so they will have first pick, and OK Infinite is red side. So I want to see a lot of counter pick here. I want to see them utilize that top lane. We already have some bans coming out. We see Nautilus and Tryndamere both being removed. Pretty par for the course. What do you expect to also get removed here, Zed?
I want to see a couple of bans focused around the bot lane. And as we do get a Karma ban, I don't know how I feel about that. But I do want to see a couple of ADC bans just because of how much the ADC for FroggyStyleSun popped up.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see maybe a Jinx ban. Jinx is very strong in the current meta, and I think, as it does come through, Karma is a pretty good ban too. She's very much an overwhelming support. A lot of damage coming out from the empowered Q, a lot of shielding and healing coming out from the empowered shields, and then it kind of like we talked about stuff like having to buy health cut and having to buy like QSS when you play into the Malzahar. You kind of have to buy Serpent's Fang when you have a Karma on the enemy team. Because if they run at you as 5 with full shields popping off, then you're going to need to cut that in some way, shape, or form. And we do see the Ashe coming out for It Burns 1 IP. I'm never going to get tired of that name. I'm going to be
never going to get tired of that name.
But it's a good first pick. I'm sure they'll follow that up with something like a Leona, possibly another hard engaged support if they feel like it. Maybe get some onto a roamer, maybe something like the Pike. But a Jhin to answer, possibly. It is a hover currently. Yeah, it looks like it will get locked in. So Jhin versus Ashe in a singular bubble, ADC versus ADC. I'm probably going to lean towards the Ashe in this matchup. What about you?
I think that the Ashe wins the 1v1 against the Jhin, but if Jhin gets a lead, I feel like Ashe is just going to get absolutely obliterated, especially with the 4th shot combo if he does go Dark Harvest. Gale Force, Q auto, Dark Harvest. Oh man, that'll one shot anyone.
Yeah, a ton of damage already coming out from the side of Yaoke Infinite. And I wanted to kind of point out like a little tidbit for ADC to ADC here. Jin's ult is easily counteracted by Ashe ult because Jin has to stand still and you literally see the apex of where his ult opens up from. You can immediately Ashe art to that spot and hit him, and it just cancels his ult altogether. So for the people that don't normally play this matchup or see it played, that is like one of the key little tricks and tips that you can do for Ashe into Jin. But we see a Zilean come through here, and I'm really, really liking this. Even if it's a mid lane Zilean, I think Zilean's one of the most underappreciated characters in the game. The R is just unbelievably strong. It's like having a Zonius plus a I'm fumbling on Guardian Angel, correct? All in one, because either people have to stop fighting you and let you live for that additional time, or they have to keep fighting you and then you die and get reborn. So either way, you're kind of just winning in that aspect. And with a Fiora to put it on too, you already have some major skirmishing potential here.
Yes, I will say that I am hoping that is a Zilean mid, because I want to see a hard engaged support to help that Ashe out in lane. If it is Zilean support, I feel like that would be a little bit of a blunder on their part, because for example, Leona, like you said earlier, and there comes a kill. That's going to be an interesting top lane. Very interesting. What do you think about that?
I do think that this comp is one that we've talked about like before, is mostly built into scaling. Victor, Kayle, both mid to late game champions. Jin is not necessarily too bad early, but there are a lot of times where he can just get caught out based on slow move speed, the fact that he does have to reload after 4 shots. Some things to augment that are like fleet footwork and possibly bringing a support that can add additional move speed, like the Lulu or the Soraka in some cases. So I do like that they take that off the board, especially because Soraka Ashe is disgustingly strong.
So I feel like
you hit the R.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I feel like Yaoke Infinite is expecting the Zilean mid, but as we get a Leona ban here, I'm honestly thinking that it will be a Zilean.
I am unsure as well. I don't like the fact that they prioritize the support bans. I feel like maybe trying to get rid of your counter mid. So in the case of FroggyStyle, they're banning support, so maybe they can flex the Zilean. But for Yaoke Infinite, they pretty much said, we think this Zilean is mid into Victor, which I don't know exactly how that matchup goes. I haven't seen too many Zilean v Victors, but it does seem like they don't want some overall major heal vamp into what is already a pretty nicely healing team. Ashe that can build the cringe bow, and then Fiora who can just automatically have the healing in her kit. So Blitzcrank does come off the board too, so maybe that is just a Zilean support.
Yeah, we do see a Jarvan ban come out before that Blitzcrank, and I completely agree with that. I completely agree with the Jarvan being banned, especially since he is such an engaged jungler. I feel like if that is a Zilean mid, and if they decide to pick a full engaged support, then that would just be a disgusting team fight.
I do want to like preface this by saying this is the farthest down in draft I think we've ever seen junglers taken, because this is R4 in what's probably going to be B4, B5 before the junglers get taken for each squad. And this is interesting because your counter pick is support, and there's even a little bit of a flex here because Trundle can be played support with the Glacial Augment, with stuff like the Guardian, and it's a different style of game that you have to play because your team is more bulky and like less hard CC, but it's very much doable.
And we do see a very fast Graves pick. I do think that would be Graves jungle, because let's say that it was Graves mid and that was Zilean support. Oh, there we go. That's what I like to see. Braum. Beautiful.
So it is going to be the Freljordian bot lane, Braum and Ashe into whatever this pick is here. Now, I will say the Trundle pick gets more value because of the Braum, the innate abilities, especially if he W somebody, and then you pop R right after that. But even if you decide to send the Trundle support here, that's still a pretty good lane for Jhin Trundle, because Pillar knock up into something like, well, it doesn't matter anymore. Trundle will be going jungle. Rakan here. So I also like this pick here because with the way that you want to play with this comp, Kayle and Victor are backline champs. Jhin very much so a backline champ. Trundle and Rakan are going to be your characters that play forward. And there's a little bit of leeway that you can have with the Rakan if you want to make him a full speed demon, like kind of just absolutely jump into the backline of FroggyStyleSun. And then if he is going to die, you can have Kayle ult him, or just play strictly for the Kayle and Victor here, where you just play for the late game, try to just subdue them in the early to mid game, and then when you get to those late game team fights, just all in with the damage that comes out from a farmed up Victor and a farmed up Kayle, while Jhin, is just able to free fire because they have to deal with so many threats there.
Now, I do want to make a couple points here. So FroggyStyleSun is kind of lacking on AP damage, whereas YaOK Infinite has a decent amount of AP damage. But let's not forget that Kayle can also go AD. I feel like AP Kayle is a little bit better scaling-wise, but AD Kayle is still viable. So Kayle is pretty much having to be forced to go AD here because they have... Actually, no. Sorry.
No,
she's not. Because I am working off half my brain. And I thought Jhin was AP for some reason. Please ignore me.
You're fine. I do expect the Kayle to go Nashor's Tooth into possibly Riftmaker here, and then the Victor to go into the standard Ludens. But I mean, as you said, the damage profile is more even for YaOK Infinite. Zilean does a surprising amount of AP damage, especially one that's mid lane and can be fed more or less with farm and kills. But that still does lean towards AP. You're going to have lethality coming out from Graves. This is a patch where he has a really high win rate with Umbral Glaive first item, and then he goes into something like Eclipse. So there are 3 squishies on the side of YaOK Infinite and can be immediately popped, but the Trundle is what you're wanting to play forward and possibly subdue some of the Graves damage. The X factor for me this game is going to be how well the tandem of Graves Fiora does into the backline of YaOK Infinite. If Braum is able to hold off Trundle and Rakan, if Zilean is able to make sure he gets the R on the appropriate member, and then Graves and Fiora are just able to dive into the backline of YaOK Infinite, you don't really have any frontline. You have a little bit of peel, but even then, Fiora Riposte just immediately dissolves whatever CC you thought you had to begin with. So I don't know how much I am liking the comps fighting into each other, that is.
Yeah, I will say that YaOK Infinite has a very scaling team comp, but let's not forget that they have a decent amount of team fight for FroggyStyleSun as well, because the Ashe and the Braum, I feel like Graves can just press R and walk away. Deal a lot of damage if he manages to get even the slightest bit of a lead. I do enjoy the fact that anyone on their team can pretty much walk into the enemy, deal damage, and Zilean can press R on them and just instantly revive them. And that is a very strong upper hand that FroggyStyleSun has. But at the same time, Kayle has her ultimate. So I feel like if they manage to play around Zilean's ult properly, they will have an upper hand in fights, because even though Zilean does have that revive, the person who is being revived is out of the fight for like maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds. So that gives YaOK Infinite a small window of opportunity to then engage on the rest of the team while that person is being revived. Now, it's very possible that they could not see this and act on it when they were in game, because the in-game mindset is very different from an outside perspective. So if they don't manage to do that, I'm not going to judge them too heavily. Maybe a little bit of judgment. But I feel like they need to have a very strict game plan going into FroggyStyleSun, because they do have a lot of damage coming out. Trundle's going to have to be fed. Khan's going to have to engage almost perfectly each time. And it's going to be one hell of a first game.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go into predictions based off the draft and based off of what we've seen, past, and maybe a little bit mysteriousness with YaOK Infinite. Who do you think's gonna win?
Well, we have seen FroggyStyleSun in game before, but I'm gonna give my support to Yaoke Infinite specifically because of the AP that is lacking on FroggyStyleSun. I feel like Yaoke Infinite will be able to capitalize on that. So my support is gonna go over to Yaoke Infinite.
Okay, I'm gonna have to contradict you here a little bit. I think FroggyStyleSun has a very clear operation here. I think that they know what they want to do as far as the dive from Fiora and Graves, and then the Zillion's just there for extra help. And then with the pick out potential from the Ash Arrow, they're able to easily close in on a target when you get something like the Yomu's onto Graves, and possibly any really thing onto Fiora because she has multiple dashes and can just be around somebody. And the speed up from Zillion on that behalf, it's just gonna feel like if one member of Yaoke Infinite is out of position even slightly, and Ash has any sort of vision, it's pretty much over for that member. And I think with the way that Yaoke Infinite's comp is built, if the Rakan or the Trundle is the one to get caught out, being the most focal member for being the pseudo frontline, it's probably just going to be over. Like, you really can't fight into 5 people as 3 unless your damage numbers are just off the charts. So I like that we have a mixed bag here as far as predictions, and I really like the way the comps played out. This is some of the more interesting comps that I think we've seen all season. I don't think we've had a Kale yet, or a Victor for that matter. So I'll have to check stats on that, but I do like it. I mean, honestly, I'm hecka excited for this one. How about you?
I am on the edge of my seat already, but we just started. I would love to see how this game progresses.
Well, we do have a bit of technical issue. We are going to get that sorted out, and we should be back here in about 3 minutes or so. We're going to throw it to a break, and we will see you guys after.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, no,
There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been finding ways to get away, to see you again. We got millions of reasons to let it all go. Hope we're not too broken. I know
Welcome back. Sorry about that pause. We did have a little bit of a lobby issue. We did get the remake in, and our software is now running pretty well. We do have FroggyStyleSun pushing in here on the blue side, and we have okay Infinite on the red side. So we do have a quick update, and I think we are going to go right into game. Yeah, it does look like we're in the game. A 5-point stance from just about everybody. We do have a little bit more of a lean from Froggy Style onto the bot side, but everything's pretty standard here. Looking at the Rune Choice. Oh, Wango a little bit greedy here. Does get the proc off from the passive, but that'll be it. Looking at the Rune Choices here, we do have First Strike on Victor and Press the Attack on Fiora, which I thought she normally runs Conqueror, but I think this is an okay adaptation.
And I do want to point out that Jin has cleanse, and I've seen a lot of ADCs in here take cleanse. We can't see his items. Do you think we can get like a scoreboard update really quick?
I think that will be coming shortly. We do have a little bit of an invade in towards bot. Just about the time that the buff will be spawning too.
Now I wonder what Fiora's doing topside, because it looks like she's trying to proxy.
Yeah, a little bit of proxy.
All the way.
I do think this is actually going to go into an invade here. Yes, it will. Pack finding the Q onto the Rakan. The sun comes through. Rakan does dash away, is ignited. And I think this blue buff is going to go over to the side of FroggyStyleSun. Does go over to FPL. The Splash is in a very dangerous situation. And FPL does find first blood onto the Splash. Unfortunate for him. I mean, that's just a good invade from FroggyStyleSun. A quick kill onto your Graves. And if anyone wants to be accelerated in this game, Graves could absolutely take over.
Yeah, and that was actually beautifully played. Braum being there was an absolute staple because of his passive Ashe autoing, getting that stun off, setting that up for Graves was beautiful. It is highly unfortunate for okay Infinite, however.
Yeah, that is...
Now their Trundle is extremely behind. And let's not forget, we did talk about how Trundle was pretty much the only frontline that they were going to have. So the fact that he's put behind now is absolutely catastrophic almost for okay Infinite.
Yeah, we do see a little bit of a ward here, but that's going to be quickly cleaned up by the Trundle. We saw Elsa from Frozen. What a bomb name. Another good name for the league. We did see the Kale take some huge chunk of damage here up in the top lane. I do think they were able to pot up, and Fiora is known as an early game bully. And here is a little bit more damage coming through. Unable to find that proc, but does get some decent damage onto them as the trades do just fall off. And we see the aggression that came out of FroggyStyleSun. Fortunately for the side of Yao Infinite, they did not burn any summoners during that invade. As FBL does look to do something on this top side. A little bit of root comes out onto pack, and it'll be nothing doing. But FBL is here for the gank, and this is just the splash fighting here. It's going to be a 2v2 fight. FBL does get taken really, really low. Fiora trying to go in, trying to get the proc, but the splash, and Elsa able to turn it. And that is a kill over to Kale, not someone you want accelerated in the early game.
Yeah, Kale's early game is extremely weak, and the fact that she just got an early kill onto a Fiora is very, very bad for FroggyStyleSun. So I feel like that is a decent answer to the invade that FroggyStyleSun managed to pull off. And I would love to see Elsa from Frozen snowball against this Fiora, because we all know what happens when a Fiora gets fed. 75% of the damage that she does is true damage, and you can't itemize against it. So that is a very good thing that just happened for FroggyStyleSun, and I cannot wait. What is happening here?
A little bit of a dive coming through. I think they really want to crash this wave onto Fiora. Doesn't really have a way to hard clear the wave unless she hits the riposte, but she will probably lose a couple of those minions. A good push, allowing this this Kale to get her back off. And I like what you did there with the Elsa and the snowball. I think top 3 caster puns I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I'm glad that I managed to pull that off. Shouts out to the Kale for having that name.
But we do see a little bit of just overwhelming aggression here from FroggyStyleSun. I want to say, like, something that I preach as far as, like, players who play jungle and who play top. When you're up there in top and in jungle, it's kind of like you're an island. Jungle's more like a moving island, which is a little redundant, but you're kind of alone a lot of the time. So you want that aggression, but you don't want too much aggression. Measured aggression is what it's called. And unfortunately there for FBL, he just didn't measure his own aggression, and eventually did go under, and then Wango went under with him, and he had to retreat, and Wango fought, and ultimately paid the price for that. So I want to see more of that aggression, but maybe scale it back just a little bit for the side of FroggyStyleSun. But we do hit a little bit of a lull state. I do want to talk about people's itemization choices going into the beginning of the game. We did see Kale start off with that corrupting pot, and they immediately went Berserker's Greaves on first back with that initial kill. So we do see that they want to augment into that lethal tempo keystone that they have. Want to really play for that and play for more of a safe lane and just try to hit those power spikes of 6 and 11.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how Kale is going to play the mid game, because once Fiora, finds that opening to get that kill and manages, like, if she, what's going on here? Just a little bit of a cheeky kind of engage, I guess. I really don't know what to call that. But what are they really trying to invade right now?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a rotation up here top. That is a very good pillar that comes out. But we do see that the Zilean is 6, so this could be a straight-up dive. Elsa not 6 just yet. Might tick over, and I think this is going to be a kill. FBL is tanking tower. Yeah, kill over to Wango. FBL still taking tower, but he does have the Zilean ult just in case, and it does come down!
Beautiful Zilean ult.
Perfect
Beautiful
timing!
Zilean.
That is frame perfect there. And fortunately for FBL, he gets out scot-free. I mean, they do burn the ulti, but Zilean ult is a 35-second cooldown at most with the CDR.
And then on top of that, right, Victor used both of his summoner spells.
He did.
He is completely at a disadvantage because Zilean still has flash and teleport up.
As did Kale. So that is 4 sums down for the side of Yao Infinite, and all for the ultimate of Zilean.
I said that
perfect
ultimate.
The power of the pick, it can be so impactful if used correctly, and I tell you what, that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. We do see another bit of some aggression coming out from Yao Infinite in the bot side, which I will say right now is definitely their strong side. It's only 2-1, so it's not like the game is completely over, but you do have scaling picks. I also believe our gold graph is broken. because I do believe these teams have more than 2.5k apiece right now up at the top. But that is fine. We will deal with the gold graph that is on the centerpiece. So I want to say that most of the gold for Yaoke Infinite is probably on that Kale right now, who isn't that far in farm. But boy, do those Fiora autos hurt.
Now, I do want to give some attention over to the Victor's CS. I don't really know if they're going to try to look for an engage here. I don't know how close they are to level 6. But so Victor is CSing decently. So I wonder if despite... Okay, FroggyStyleSun is popping off in the top lane.
Yeah, I think Wengo is just such an aggressive player, and it really fits his playstyle with the champs that we've seen. But I mean, as long as you're, winning these trades and playing aggressively to yourself and forcing them off of the farm, that's what really works. And you can see pretty much zoning coming through from absolutely everyone on the side of FroggyStyleSun.
Yeah, but I was getting to they just took Herald, which is actually really good for FroggyStyleSun. But if Victor manages to CS and just wait out this absolute horrendous amount of poke that Zillion is managing, I feel like he could eventually end up getting further ahead than anyone on the rest of FroggyStyleSun would be able to, just because of that CSing. Seen in the past how strong just CSing and getting gold could be for a laner. I think there was a Kaisa a couple games ago that managed that, and she absolutely just popped off with that CS advantage only because of that CS advantage. So I want to see this Victor continue to CS well. I want to see him only just, hyper focus on farm, not necessarily getting kills. And I mean, if he manages to get a kill, that would be wonderful for him. But for the most part, he should just be playing passive and waiting for his power spikes.
Yeah, I agree. Victor is such a, takeover character when you get to the mid to late game, especially if they do have a couple of kills under their belt. But I want to say that this early drag going over to the side of FroggyStyle is definitely a step in the right direction to stop that late game push, to stop the advantageous position that you can find yourself in when you have a Kale Victor. Even a Jin at that point, when Jin's walking around and crit one-shotting all of your squishies, that is definitely a problem. As Fiora does go into the Kale here, Kale does have ultimate, is going to find a little bit of more damage on a Fiora. Fiora finds the outplay here, it just barely survives. Now Trundle does walk up. We'll see if he's able to do anything. Nice knock-up with the pillar there, but unable to follow around. Fiora just zip-zap, zoobity-bopping all the way around the minions, Kale and Trundle themselves. And this might be somewhat of a comeback here. Oh my goodness. The ult onto. Woo! The damage coming out from the ult bite there. And we do see the Rift Arrow being dropped bot, so this is an additional turret plates. And eventually the whole turret going over to the side of FroggyStyleSun. But man, oh man, was that Fiora damage and just, ultimately healing as well a big problem.
Yeah, I do want to say that was a very, very well-played kill from Trundle, and I think that honestly puts it back into the game, picking up that kill from the top side. Because of that early invade, he was kind of put behind, and I love the fact that he is actually managing to keep his mental intact from that invade, because I know I would get very tilted. And I just love the fact that he kept his cool, kept his mental straight, and eventually got back into the game just because, he didn't tilt.
Yeah, I will say he was never really down and out. It was just that initial pick, which is always frustrating. You lose your buff, you lose some tempo, and then you're ultimately just behind the whole game. But he did well in getting back. We saw the gold graph, which is bugged at this point. We apologize, guys. It came up and it said 0-0 for both teams.
Yeah,
we will fix that as soon as possible. I think for this game, we're just gonna have to rely on the goal that does come up from the bottom scoreboard there. We'll do a little bit of quick maths in our head. But it's 3-2. We do see the gold going on to It Burns One IP, as the whole tower bot side was given to him. We see the Gale Force coming out, even the stopwatch, and this might just be a kill. But unfortunately, Rakan is there with the quickness, and he is able to subdue pretty much all of FroggyStyleSun, and does take the Ashar onto his face. Zillion follows up with the double Q and is able to find the kill, but this might just be Kale falling as well. Unfortunately, the bomb's not able to find her, and this is probably going to be top tower falling pretty soon. Victor and Fiora are matching each other in the bot lane, and Fiora, always so aggressive, does have finished boots, but that's not going to be much against Victor. As Trundle goes into the Braum, yeah, you have 3 here topside. You have 4 here topside now as Rakan makes his way here. They just really want to stop this Ashe from getting anything else, as they do have a bunch of gold onto their carry. And we've seen styles like this work. As Fiora able to jump on top of Victor, the flash does get him away, but not for long. Oh my goodness. The 1v1 in... Jin opens up the wrong way. The flash, the Q on to Jin, the Ashe to follow. More concussive blows following over. Maybe Rakan dies, just maybe. No, Trundle's able to stop it, but FPL comes over the wall. Trundle finds the kill onto the Ashe. Ult procced. Braum low as could be. Kale finds a kill onto FPL, and Trundle cleans up the kill onto Braum. What a turnaround for Yaoke Infinite there.
Yeah, and that was a couple of things that I do want to point out. That Victor flashing the way that he did before this fight broke out is what eventually led to his death, because he flashed in just the perfect spot for Fiora to practically just Q and get that vital point pretty easily.
Yeah, and I would recommend Rakan stop while he's ahead. Do not really want to see... Oh, but she fails the dash over the wall. And this is Victor damage coming out. Rakan does find the W, but the parry does block it. And I don't think there's going to be enough health to get him out.
Oh, my
Just
Lord.
a smidgen of health. You have no flash, Victor. And the dash comes up, able to get away from the E. Oh, my goodness. Waco is
beautiful.
A beast. A little bit of a fail there across the wall, but he gets out with his life. What a play. Not even a kill at that point, just a good escape. And then we do have Ashe transitioning here into the mid lane. Still looking for these plates, or rather plates have already fallen. Still looking for this pressure across the map. Zilean just kind of vibing, floating around as, Merry Christmas to all the Time Lords out there. the underplayed Zilean players. But Ashe is just getting all the money that she can funneled into her. 113 at this point, 135 farm in 15 minutes. Very much in the driver's seat of this bot lane. And they're looking for their second drag, which is going to be Hextech, which means we're going to have a pretty decent soul. We're going to have an Ocean Soul. So already 2 drags stacked up for the side of FroggyStyleSun. And I will say, this is not looking good for the side of Yaoke Infinite. I do say that they're not out of the game completely. Once again, they're scaling comp. They have 2 kills onto their carry Kale. She already has her Nashers built, so she's in a good spot at level 10, about to tick over to 11, it seems. So, once again, you can't really give up any of these drags over to the side of FroggyStyleSun. They have so much innate pick-out ability that if you give them also skirmishing ability with, the amazing healing that Fiora already gets, then you're going to have a problem coming into the mid-game, which is supposed to be your best point at this point. And a knock-up onto the Trundle kind of wedges Fiora in place there with the filler, and it's not going to be much doing there. I think Pac was just a little too aggressive on that one.
Yeah, I really don't know about the ultimate, especially since Herald is currently being taken. If there was a fight, then that would have been really bad. But yeah, I think that he scared them off just long enough for them to actually be able to secure that.
Agreed.
But I will. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
There's a fight breaking out, so maybe not.
Yeah, it's just probably going to be Rift Arrow dropped here mid lane, and a little bit of prio gained as top lane Fiora and Kale are going back at it. Kale has ascended, level 11 now. The Ashe ult does go wide, and there's a little bit of an engage onto the Victor. That lethality damage coming through. Rakan onto the backline with a double knockup onto Ashe and Zilean here, and this is going to be another charge for the Rift Herald, and I think that is about all for this mid lane skirmish. Kale here trying to fight off the Fiora, but Fiora is just so strong. And I was wrong. The ult is dropped onto the Zilean, but that's not really going to do a whole lot of damage. And the health bars are getting very, very low for the side of Yaoke Infinite. And Fonzo just finds his way out. A little bit of chip damage onto the Rakan. And another shot that almost hits Fonzo. But I think he still has that ult in the back pocket, so he's not too worried about it.
I mean, to be fair, at least he opened his ultimate in the right direction this time.
Correct, yeah. I mean, he did kind of get bamboozled when they jumped over the edge, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And this might be a little bit of bait and switch here from the side of Yaoke Infinite. Fiora, very aggressive player, and the pillar in a perfect spot. Kale doesn't want to get too close as they know the Fiora could jump over the top, and they do, forces out the flash. Fiora might be able to get a little bit of damage off here
way she
too.
actually escapes.
No way. Okay, yeah, the ult does come down. Trundle's able to secure the kill, the shutdown nonetheless on the Fiora, and Kale was so afraid. You see the menacing Fiora looked at Kale over the wall, and Kale was like, "Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm not playing this game with you. If you dash flash at me, I'm going to die." So I would say a good preemptive flash by Elsa there, and it does help that your Trundle is there, and your Trundle's pretty big now. Does have the Divine Sunder, does have the Merc Treads, is 4-1-1 at this point in the game, so they are pretty big. But excuse me, sorry about that. But I do think, all in all, FroggyStyleSun is still okay in this match, or still ahead in this matchup.
Yeah, and I want to look at a little bit of itemization here. The first thing that I noticed is that Graves has plated steel caps. I don't really know what his thought process behind that. It might be for the 10% reduced from attacks, because a decent amount of them, like Jhin, Trundle, and Kale, are auto attack champions. But let's not forget that Kale is AP, Victor is a champion, and Rakan, I really don't. I mean, that doesn't really do anything against Rakan specifically. But I don't really know about that purchase of boots. I think that he could have maybe done better with Mercury Treads, specifically because the CC gets reduced from the Victor and from the Jhin W from the Rakan as a champion. I feel like that in itself was a blunder. We do see some Mercury Treads coming out from Fiora, which I completely agree with. But besides that, everything looks standard. Kale is going AP, so I guess minus 1 point for me for being not intelligent.
No. That is completely understandable. Kale does look like she's going to pick up the Riftmaker and I was about to say flash. A teleport here into the mid lane. They are trying to prioritize this drag, which seems to be up in about 13 seconds. And like I said before, they don't really want to give an Ocean Soul over to the side of FroggyStyleSun, but we do see a Rakan engage, and he is immediately deleted. Now the Trundle does catch the Kale ulti, and that might be Braum going down, but he is rezzed by the Zilean, and this is going to be a turn onto the side of Yaoke Infinite. A quick kill onto the Victor there does get a net positive for the side of FroggyStyleSun, and now it's just a couple of kills coming through, and they do lose the Ashe, but I don't think that's going to be enough, as FBL does charge forward and finds the double kill onto Jhin there. And that is my bad. I completely spaced the name of Victor for a second, and that kind of shows you how non-existent he's been in the game. No offense, but you are 0-2-1, and you do end up losing that team fight. All in all, the only person to drop for FroggyStyleSun there was the Ashe, and she is your carry, but you do have the Fiora. You now have Ocean Soul Point, which is massive for your team, and you have the Zilean and Graves combo, which at this point is just deleting people off the map. And like I said before, Graves with this lethality build is so strong. His next item is probably going to be either the Youmuu's or the one that gives you Spell Shield. I can't quite recall the name on that one, but it is the lethality item. Edge of Night, correct. So, that item coming through, that might help a little bit with the poke from the Victor here, or even the poke from the Kale. It does provide a little bit of magic resistance just because of the Spell Shield and some of the other stuff that you don't have to deal with. But all in all, I think he prioritized primarily for damage, and the things that could stop him, which innately would be the Trundle that he could possibly fight in the 1v1, or the Jhin who could possibly one shot him at this point. But you see the gold in the right spots for FroggyStyleSun. You see it on their carries pretty much, and the side of Zilean, who just said, "Hey, I will be an additional support this game. I am playing full utility. I have Zonias, I have my R, I have Everfrost. I am here to play for you three in Graves, Fiora, and Ashe." So I like the style that they went for, and like I said at the beginning of the game, I do think this is the style that fits their team comp right now.
Yeah, I mean, they try to bait for a Baron call here, and this is the same thing they did for Dragon. The absolute confidence that FroggyStyleSun has in their own team fight ability, they went ahead and said, Fiora, you can go ahead and split push, do what you need to do, just like they did at Dragon. We're going to try to take objectives. And the first time they did that, it paid off beautifully. They took tier 1 and tier 2 off the top. And it looks like Fiora's going to get collapsed on here.
Yeah, Fiora collapsed on by Kale and by Trundle, but that massive healing that's going to come out, she is going to get the ultimate off on Trundle, but it's not going to be enough. She tries to flash the wall and unfortunately just dies for that, but you do see Jungler bot, and I would have liked FroggyStyleSun to jump on this a little bit sooner, but they will start burning the Baron down. No vision for the side of Yaoke Infinite, and that Baron is hotly getting burned down. Only about half HP now. Trundle so far out, has to make his way into the pit. But like I said before, that Ashe ulti onto the Jins, and a nice disengage from Braum. Graves is still in the pit trying to find his way to kill this, and that's Rakan solo. Graves does commit the Baron down, and that is ult coming out from both Zilean and Kale, and they do get the kill onto the Ashe. FPL trying to fight for his life, has to reload. The Trundle is just whacking away. Only the Zilean left alive with the Baron, but that is a good conversion from both sides, I would have to say.
Yeah, and I that was an absolute fumble, I would say, from FroggyStyleSun. How many shutdowns did Trundle get there?
I believe 2 or 3.
And that is extremely bad for FroggyStyleSun because Trundle just by himself can carry any game. It is very doable. So I love the fact that he got those shutdowns. Of course, now it could be very useful on Elsa, could be very useful on Jhin, or maybe even Victor. But the fact that he got them, now not only was he strong before, he's even stronger now as a frontliner. Means he will be able to take more damage, deal more damage, and just basically be a menace to anyone who he tries to engage on. Now, with that being said, it does take a little bit of damage away because Victor did not get any of those. But I think he died earlier. Actually, I don't even think he died at all.
No, he
But,
didn't. He picked
okay,
up
yeah,
3
he didn't
assists.
drop.
Yeah.
He did pick up 3 assists. He does pick up a second item, but I would have liked to see at least one of those shutdowns go over to Victor just to get him back on the board.
I agree, and I would like to see a certain itemization come out from either the Trundle or the Rakan. I think fiscally it's probably better on the Trundle, as we do have Zilean and Ashe combining for a quick pick out here. Fiora is going to dive a little deep, but nothing doing as they do take that bot side tower. The Zilean does still have Baron buff, and Victor's down for 30 seconds here, as we do see a push from FroggyStyleSun towards this bottom lane, and Fiora is just going to move towards mid. Take this split pushing role to the main effect here. Rakan looking for some sort of gank, but I don't think he's going to be able to find any sort of backdoor here. Yeah, a couple kills going over for wards, that is, but nothing else doing. They don't really have a TP here. Victor is up in about 8 seconds, and I think that's just going to be them returning to normalcy.
Yeah, and I do I would like to say that team fight wise this is relatively close, but at the same time, turrets wise, I mean FroggyStyleSun is absolutely demolishing Yaoke Infinite. There needs to be a lot better macro coming from Yaoke Infinite if they actually want to pull this game back.
And this is FroggyStyleSun burning down the dragon. It will be an engage. Zilean not able to get his ult off, does land something onto the Kale, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. We do see a re-engage from the Ashe here, and she is handling business. Fiora on the opposite side does manage to take down one in the 2v1, and this might be FroggyStyleSun just dropping. Fiora makes it over the wall, Braum trying to W on top of her, and that is going to be a 2 for 3. With the dragon going over to FroggyStyleSun, however, that is Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely worth it because in the Trundle, I feel like Ocean Soul is a lot. Oh, what is going on here?
Fiora going back in, being a little aggressive here, is going to get locked up by both the CC from Rakan and from the Victor, and that is a shutdown going over to the side of Yaoke Infinite. That is not what you want to see going into this late game.
I completely lost my train of thought after Fiora dashed in 1v3. I'm not going to lie to you. But the fact that they got Ocean Soul, okay, that's the one I'm trying to talk about. Especially in the Trundle, they're going to be able to sustain a little bit better because the Ocean Soul is so strong and so overpowered that it won't really. It'll basically bring some of his damage down because they heal through some of it. You know what I'm saying? So if they manage to get a little bit more resistances targeted towards the Trundle and the Kale, I feel like they could pull this one off. But then again, Yaoke Infinite is a late game team, So I still think it's close, but it's also in favor of FroggyStyleSun, just specifically because of the host himself.
I'm inclined to agree with you. And like I was saying before, before the team fight popped off, I want to see this Trundle itemized into Anathema's change. I think there's 3 obvious targets that you could put it on, whether it be the Fiora, the Graves, or the Ashe. But that tenacity reduction very much helps in team fights. When you have the Rakan going in with the quickness, or you have the CC coming out from the Victor, the tenacity reduction makes them stay CC'd for much longer. And the longer that you have the National Chains on them, is the longer this the tenacity resistance goes down. So if you pick up an item like that, drop it onto the Ashe, drop it onto the Graves, they're not able to move as much in team fights, and your engage becomes so much more deadly.
Does that word have 5 bars on it, or is that 2 control words?
I believe that's 2 control words overlapping.
I think that would be extremely unbalanced if it had 5 bars on it.
We found a bug in the game. It does.
It
It's too
But
overlapping.
It's so situated. It's situated so perfectly that like when we're zoomed out, we can't see that it's like 2 on top of each other. It looks like just 1 health bar, and it's 5. That's
and that is
huge
a good
advantage
ward.
for Yao Game.
Yeah, that's a good word out of Rakan, able to find the bush cheese here. And I mean, for the side of FroggyStyleSun, they're just playing for Baron.
Yeah, the macro coming out from FroggyStyleSun is very impressive. I do love that they're keeping their wave shoved in all lanes. Someone might need to go top, but besides that, I love the macro decisions and just the all-around team fighting decisions as well coming out from FroggyStyleSun. And Fiora's bot lane, split pushing, doing what she needs to do, and they're trying to set up for a Baron, and I am here for it all. I am loving this.
Yeah, I think for the side of FroggyStyleSun, your Fiora is such a powerhouse. Although I say that, she's diving underneath tower, eating a lot of damage, and now, my goodness, does find the kill onto Victor, is able to dash flash away. And this is just going to be FroggyStyleSun converting on the Baron, while Fiora just sustains through so much here. Not much coming out from the healing, but Final Bite does manage to net a kill, and that is PKL TPing top lane, trying to find some sort of kill here onto the Baron. Maybe try to steal,
look for flash ult.
Yeah, might have something there. Nothing doing, so they are going to back off. Actually, they want to pursue this. Rakan, does he pop the quickness? He does, but the CC coming out of Braum, and a great ult to make them fall back there. Great disengage from the Braum. I want to say, that is ultimate kudos in my book. As a Braum, you have one job, and that's to appeal for the rest of your team. And you saw them immediately pop the quickness, got the slow off, and then immediately popped both Trundle Pillar and the W forward, and the Braum ulti just subdues that.
And that was it also didn't stop Jhin Ultimate. And
did it? I did not notice that.
It did stop Jhin Ultimate. So I love the angle that Ultimate took. Very, very good. Very good.
That is massive. As you can see up in the right side corner, we do have the timer on the Baron. Unfortunately, as the gold graph is bugged, we are going to only see a 0 there. But they do have 2 minutes roughly left on that Baron buff, and they do look like they're going to keep up with this 4-1 split push here. It's been working so far, so I don't expect to see them change anytime soon. We do see objective bounties come out for the side of Yaoke Infinite, which tells me that they're at a significant gold disadvantage here. I'm going to guesstimate probably about 15k or so, which is, nothing to scoff at this point in the game. You do have most of the gold differential coming from the bot lane. Oh, it's not even near 15k. I would say closer to 6k, but a little bit of engage here from the Asher. Oh my goodness! The Jhin is just absolutely deleted. I was gonna say I was just kind of laying low as far as that goes, because I didn't think there was gonna be any real fighting until about the Nexus turret, but Jhin just gets absolutely deleted, and now you have to split. You have to send 2 top because Fiora is such a problem, and she does manage to get in this fight 2v1, and she will die here until the stopwatch comes out. Oh, Zillionaire saves her again. Unfortunately, Zillion is going to die for that, but Fiora does manage to get away. Now is re-engaging the fight onto the Trundle. This is a split fight here. Braum and Ashe on the opposite side, the wrong side, I want to say. Victor does find the engage onto Ashe. She does fall. Rakan picking up the kill. And Fiora still pushing the base. It's 4 people chased down Braum and Graves here. And now they're stuck in the middle. What are you going to do? I don't think that Jhin is going to be able to take on the Fiora anytime soon. And you're in such a mixed bag now, because you got the ultimate Drake up here. The Elder Drake's coming up, and you have a Fiora pushing down your base, and now Graves and and Braum are fighting in the 2v3 and winning. Graves finds a kill onto the Trundle. Braum's probably going to fall here. I don't expect much coming through. Kale is exalted at this point. 17 levels up and very much ahead with that Rift Maker and that Nashor's Tooth. And this is going to be Elder going over to the side of Yelke Infinite unless Fiora can pull off a steal. We do see a TP coming in from Zilean, so this might just be another fight on our hands. Kale does turn onto the Fiora, is immediately ulted by the Fiora, and we see a TP in from Victor. The ult goes down. She's alive. She's alive. She's alive. The healing is ridiculous. Victor very, very much in control of this fight as it is, though. We do see Rakan relatively low. Zilean with bomb after bomb, following up with the CC, and I think this is just going to be a retreat from Yelke Infinite. Your base is in tatters. They are spotted out. Ashe Arrow does manage to land onto the Victor, and this is what I was talking about, that speed. Ashe able to find the kill onto the Victor with the speed boost from Zilean, and she came out of nowhere. Yeah, Elder most likely going over to FroggyStyleSun. Yeah, Trundle's in base clearing waves, so that is going to be Elder.
And what turned out from a huge macro mistake from FroggyStyleSun actually managed to work out. Because of that teleport coming in from Zilean, he enabled that fight to take place because, I mean, even though Fiora did manage to, get all 4 vitals on her ultimate off, he was there as almost a safety net for that fight breaking out at the Dragon. And I guarantee you, if he would not have shown up, Fiora would not have taken that fight, and that Elder Dragon would have in turn went over to Yelke Infinite, which would have turned the game over in the most colossal way possible.
I agree. And then there was just like I said, the vision that came through from Ashe. She was able to find the sight onto the Victor, and he just didn't respect the fact that ult could be up. The ult did hit, and then the speed that came through from the side of FroggyStyleSun. And as we see, they're poking down Yelke Infinite, and this is a desperation engage. You see some damage coming through, but ultimately, if FroggyStyleSun touches you and you're near a quarter HP, you just die. So you really can't afford to get that low. You do see some healing coming through from the Nexus. Braum getting relatively low here, but you do still have the Zilean ult, and I believe that is Trundle going to be going down. Yeah, Trundle ultimately gone. Rakan tries to go in with the Kale ulti on top of him. Unfortunately, is going to find a death. Kale does from the Graves. Rakan falling as well, and that is going to be a clean ace from FroggyStyleSun.
Beautifully played from FroggyStyleSun. I'm absolutely loving the decisions that they made. Beautiful Fiora gameplay, beautiful team play. Wonderful in my book all around.
My goodness. I was so impressed with so many aspects of FroggyStyleSun's play. Being the first engage, being the Braum knockup that basically subdued 3 people ultimately, in the Zilean play. That is my MVP. The Zilean play was absolutely on point.
And not only that, the Fiora having confidence in her team to be able to push the way that she did. Absolutely won her team the game through that. Made a mistake a little bit towards the end, but managed to revert that mistake and end up getting that Elder Dragon, which ultimately allowed them to end the game.
I agree. What a banger for game 1. We are going to throw it to a break, and we will be back here shortly. We're going to try to fix that gold craft as well, guys. Don't worry about that. The teams are going to swap sides, and then we will be in the draft when we get back.
That carries them has kept me astray. Too soon to act on it, can we ever be? That all depends on what you're feeling from me. Show you all the way. show you all the ways. Oh, let me show you all the ways. Yeah, let me show you all the ways. Oh. I have been taken by the words that you say. The voice that carries them has kept me astray. Too soon to act on it, can we ever be? That all depends on what you're feeling from me. Let me show you all the way. Let me show you all the ways. Oh, let me show you all the ways. Yeah, let me show you all the ways. Oh.
Hey, and welcome back to Game 2 Draft. Game 1 was absolute heat. I was so excited about that. I think Fonzo on Zillion definitely showed out, and the rest of FroggyStyleSun, and even members of okay Infinite definitely had a great game there. How are you feeling about it, Zed?
I'm honestly loving the way that the first game was played. I feel like team fights were played very well on the side of FroggyStyleSun. I was a little bit, saddened to see that Yaoke Infinite was not performing as well as they could have. But the Yaoke Infinite did ban the Zillion, so we don't really have to worry about the frame perfect revive anymore.
Yeah, as we look at some of the bands and the pick that did come through here, you see Tryndamere, Zillion, and Jinx gone. I believe that Jinx is going to be a staple band versus FroggyStyleSun. It Burns One IP is definitely a very good Jinx player. We did see a little bit of Twitch come out last time too, so maybe that might get a ban if he goes astronomical with something like that again. For the side of FroggyStyleSun, though, we do see Diana, Volibear, and Nautilus banned. Just pretty good bans all around. We did see a bunch of buffs come out this patch. I don't think any of those three were ones to receive it, but definitely some interesting characters that could be picked this time around that maybe weren't picked outside
And
last
there's a
week.
cat. Oh, good
Oh
lord. Oh my
no,
goodness. Oh, can we
we
get through
hate
one series without having the cat?
we hate to see it. Yumi definitely in a pretty decent spot right now. Um, Definitely really good when you pair it with an Ezreal as well. And Karma, just a very good support right now. I don't know if it's first pick worthy, but if you're playing on a team that likes to flex pick, like Infinite could be. Obviously, we haven't seen them much outside of this. Karma can be a top lane pick. She can be a mid lane pick, or she can be a support at this point in the game. So we'll have to see where she does end up going. As we see the Jhin locked in again, I don't think Jhin performed poorly, but I don't think they really had a comp to enable him last game. I would like to see something that'll play more so around the Jhin, let him have more of a front line and play, against these squishier members.
Yeah, I would like to honestly see a Jarvan maybe, or something that, or a Zach. Zach would be fine too.
Zach is a very good frontline jungler. I mean, with the healing that goes through, I've seen a lot of AP Zach recently, and it's scary. It's very scary. His
Yeah,
AP ranking or AP scaling is ridiculously strong.
yeah. Zachary is a very scary champion.
And we're also going to see a very scary champion come out for FroggyStyleSun as the Hecarim makes his way onto the Rift. Paired with the Yuumi, and just overall Hecarim is a spooky dude, but that passive move speed that he does get from the Yuumi buff, and then we will probably see him build Turbo Kim Tank or something along those lines for that additional move speed. It just makes him disgusting to fight against as anyone that's immobile, like the Jhin that could possibly get ran down here, or even the Karma if she doesn't properly position.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the Yubi just permanently attached to the Hecarim and just become an unstoppable force. That would be a little bit terrifying for the side of Infinite. But hey,
Another 0025 Yumi game? Question mark.
absolutely.
I remember last time that I was here when Yumi got locked in. It was Kimpton who was overjoyed at the fact that Yumi got locked in, and he even made a mention that Pac was a very good Yumi player. So historically speaking, Yumi player, and I would like to see maybe some more priority in lane when it comes to the Yumi. I don't see anything to really stop her. Like last time there was the Alistar and the Ziggs to knock her out of place. But now you just have the Jhin W and the Karma Link, but that has to be completed or else Yumi's not going to get locked out. So
Yeah,
I would like to see more CC come through. All you really have right now is Zac and the Jhin W. So
yeah. And I do like the fact that they are banning out the top laner, the Fiora and Mordekaiser ban. I completely agree with those bans. No objections on my part. The mid
yeah,
lane for Yaoke Infinite is also being banned out. The Yasuo and Corki. I don't really know where they're getting their information for these two bans, but I'm sure they have their reasons. So
well, remember that Yasuo was recently buffed, and he is ridiculously strong right now,
yeah, that's fair.
especially with the crit builds. So I do think that is a pretty good one. Corki, on the other hand, doesn't really seem like it would fit into the comp that Yaoke Infinite are building. So I agree with you on that one being a little lackluster. But it looks like FroggyStyleSun is going to save the counter pick for their top lane, which is smart in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, they just picked Vex, and if a good Vex can pretty much bully Yasuo into submission, and even on top of that, the team comp that FroggyStyleSun has is not very good into like as a Yasuo player. So I don't really think that ban was needed. I feel like that ban could have been prioritized for someone who hasn't picked, like let's say the top laner, or maybe even another mid lane ban, but just not Yasuo. I feel like that was a little bit of a wasted ban, but I'm sure they have their reasons. I'm terrified of the Zac Yasuo combo.
Yeah, and like I said before, Karma could most definitely not get Flex to say lock in the Aatrox. Yeah, so it's going to be more of a skill expression top. No more scaling, no more I'm Kale and I'm weak. It's Aatrox and he is ready to party. Now we're going to have to see what FroggyStyleSun locks in to counter this. I do expect something that's more aggressive. Fiora obviously very aggressive in her own right last game. But maybe something like an Irelia, or they counter with Darius.
An absolute slugfest.
I am definitely ready for this top lane. I hope that it is as big and bad as it was last time, and they're just duking it out. But I will say here, looking at the comps just outright, there's definitely some problems with the Yaoke Infinite comp, much like there was last time. You have pseudo frontline with the Aatrox and the Zac, and you have zone control this time with the Veigar, which is better than what you had with the Victor. But how does your Jhin and your Karma play forward, unless it's just with the speed boost? Like, I understand that could be a portion of it, but what do you think they should do as far as team fights and how they should go about it?
Honestly, I'm actually going to have to disagree with you on that. I think that the team comp that Yaoke Infinite just created actually has a lot of peel and defense for the Jhin. They managed to get him snowballed. So I love the Veigar pick because that offers more peel for Jhin. The Zac pick offers a lot of peel. The Karma offers a shield the size of his entire health bar, pretty much. Basically, set W packed into Karma. I'm really loving the amount of defense that they're setting up around Jhin, as well as the just raw burst damage from Veigar. And not only that, the healing from Aatrox and like I already said, the shields from Karma, that could be a huge problem for FroggyStyleSun. Now, granted, FroggyStyleSun does have a lot of their own strengths. I feel like they also have a very good engage with the Yuumi, Hecarim, and the Vex. I'm loving the bot lane matchup being Ezreal, Yuumi. I love the Darius pick into Aatrox. That's going to be very fun to watch. But yeah, I do feel like there is a lot of engage available on both sides. But if FroggyStyleSun engages too early, I feel like Veigar or Zac or maybe even Karma could counterplay that just a little bit by putting on some of their own defenses and basically shutting them down. Now, I do worry about the Hecarim ult and the Yuumi ult. If Yuumi sits on Hecarim and then Hecarim presses R and becomes Scary Pony, and then Yuumi presses on top of that, that's going to be a really big problem if they manage to get on top of Jhin. So they're going to have to play this pretty smart, actually, if they want to be able to make this team comp basically perform to the fullest of its potential.
Yeah, as you were speaking on it, I do think I'm basically changing the thought process. I was thinking more so to the fact that Yaoke Infinite would try to be first to objectives and try to play forward, but really, you just have to disengage. You have 3 members of FroggyStyleSun who are looking to engage with the Hecarim, with the Yuumi, with the Vex. They want to be in your team, and if they can't be in your team, then they're not really going to, succeed in their goals of getting that damage across, getting that CC laid down with the fear coming out from the Hecarim ulti or the Vex, passive. And then the Yuumi, she's not going to be able to get her ult off if she's a million miles away. It doesn't have an excruciatingly long range or anything of that matter. So I agree with you on that. The Veigar cage is going to come in very handy here, especially when the Vex jumps in. You know what target she hit with her R. You know that she has to be around them. If you throw that cage down, you're going to be able to stop some of that aggression. And then same with the Hecarim. You know which way he's running at you. You can see him. He is going to be fast, but not as fast as putting your cage down in a certain spot and playing back, around that area. So I would like to see how FroggyStyleSun goes about these team fights as far as like engaging, play at different angles, maybe see if you can get your Darius on a flank or something along those lines. And then how OK Infinite balance the disengage that you should have for the engagers on FroggyStyleSun, as well as the engage that you have to have yourself, because you need to get on top of that Ezreal. You need to get on top of that Vex if she's not diving into you. If you just want to play, we'll wait on them the whole game, then FroggyStyleSun is gladly going to take objectives and going to play, for their carries. So
yeah, but at the same time, go ahead.
No, I agree.
But at the same time, right? FroggyStyleSun doesn't really have that much peel, I don't feel like. Not as much as compared to OK Infinite. Because we also have to remember that Hecarim is a design champion to engage. Vex has a little bit of peel in a short range with her W when it comes to team fights. Ezreal has his E, and that's really about it. Darius is very immobile. Hecarim is mobile, but only to a certain extent. He's pretty much like an unstoppable force when he has no way to ult out if he can't get his dash off properly. So I feel like OK Infinite pretty much has, basically they're just playing his bait. They're saying, please come and engage on us. And if you don't, I feel like OK Infinite might be able to sneak something, because the strength that FroggyStyle has in team fights, if they manage to play around the amount of peel, is just massive. If Darius gets 5 stacks off on one person, that's pretty much the entire team being dead. It's a very, very, it's pretty much balancing on a knife's edge here. So if one team messes up one ability or one placement of an ability, that could be very catastrophic for that team.
I agree. Well, we've broken it down to bare bones. I'm going to get your prediction here, and then we will send it into a break. What do you think is going to win?
Ooh, I really don't know. I'm going to, based off last game, it was decently close when it comes to team fights. Acro was a little bit unbalanced because Fiora and Hullbreaker as an item. So I'm actually going to continue to throw my support behind OK Infinite just because of the absolute cancerous team comp that they have built this time.
Well, I think I'm going to keep counteracting you. I think that former MVP Pack, back on her MVP pick from week 1, is going to put in work on the Yuumi, and I think that the engage will definitely find their target. So I'm going to go with FroggyStyleSun. We are going to throw it to a short break, and when we get back, we will go into game.
They tell us we're crazy, but we're just dreaming in open court. They tell us not to friend, love is so fleeting, like distant shores. Like comets and daydreams, but we're still scheming in Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in us. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight.
Hello and welcome back as we get into game 2 here. FroggyStyleSun is on the red side and we have okay Infinite on the blue side. We do have a couple of updates for you guys. The graph is broken due to the patch coming out today, so we will get that fixed in just a few moments, or excuse me, we will get that fixed by tomorrow, and what you'll see in game, we'll try to update you guys as far as the gold and chat and based off of the bottom scoreboard. And then the last update that I want to give you guys is we are having a giveaway at 500 followers. So feel free to follow every time that, or not every time, but if you're followed, you will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And then if we do get the subs to go through, I believe subs get 2 entries. So we will look for that. As we get into the game here, though, it's pretty standard 5-man, 5-point here. No invades. I don't think we're gonna have any of the shenanigans we had last game. So, I think all the summoner spells are relatively normal as well. We do have Fleet on Aatrox, and I think that is the only one that is different here.
Yeah, I do want to point out the teleport on Ezreal. That's a little bit interesting to me.
Oh, okay. So they are playing for tempo, it seems. I wanted to see. Ezreal is running Conquer here, but I have seen a lot of stuff about Ezreal running Press the Attack because his Q procs as an auto attack, which I thought was very interesting and kind of odd that we didn't find, or that a lot of people hadn't figured this out until, early or late this season so far.
Yeah, I do like the Press the Attack setup on Ezreal, but this time he's running Conqueror. And I think it's for, honestly, the only thing that can come to mind is just team fights. The amount of damage that you get from Conqueror is actually surprising. So I feel like he's going to do already a lot of damage, but on top of that, with the Conqueror setup, it's going to be even more damage because the bonus adaptive damage that you get for each stack. I think that's going to be interesting for him.
Yeah, and we do see a little bit of poking and prodding coming out from the bot lane and a little bit of poking coming out from Vex in the mid lane onto the jungler in the Zac, but it's a pretty standard laning phase here. I don't see anything too crazy going awry. Actually, maybe in top lane, hopefully Aatrox and Darius get to slapping each other, with the axe and with the sword. Maybe we see some action, but this is Vex getting a little bit caught out here by the Veigar cage. Is going to flash away. Nothing doing really to follow up, but the Q does land, and this might just be Vex dying. Yeah, what a good knockup by the Zac there. I thought Vex was out.
Yeah, and I do have to give kudos to that Zac for managing to hit his pull. That was very good on his part, and basically made that flash completely useless on the side of Vex.
Yeah, and this is Hecarim going on to the Zac. But he is going to be able to bounce away. So, he fails to bounce over the wall, and Hecarim is now on top of him. Darius does get the pull. Vex wants a little bit of payback, and I think they're going to donate the kill over to the Hecarim. They do.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because that pull was not able to actually go off. Not the pull, the jump. Sorry. If he would have gotten that jump, it would have been A-okay for him. But no matter, he does pick up double Ruby Crystal, and he will continue to just be a menace in the early game.
Yeah, it does actually look like he decided to sell one of the Ruby Crystals and go with a Dark Seal and Boots here. So he wants to be more impactful around the map, and he is looking to maybe get a couple more ganks off here, as Hecarim does look to come mid. But Veigar has Cage and ult, and he has that warded. So I doubt he's going to get much here. But that might be double Scuttle going over to the side of FroggyStyleSun.
Yeah, and I do want to point out something that I just realized. Aatrox has exhaust, which will be very helpful in all-in engage onto the Darius.
I hadn't noticed that either, but this is going to be a quick rinse and repeat. Vex getting a lot of damage onto the Vygar, though, and this has a fear up as the passive does go through. The Hecarim finds his way back mid lane, and that might be a kill. No, the Zac does flash out. Oh, my goodness, but that was close. I mean, Vex could have maybe got a ability off and feared the Zac into the Hecarim E, and that might have just been enough to kill him. But Vex is dangerously low here. He keeps playing with these Vygar Qs. It might just die.
Yeah, and I do want to see Veigar manage to keep Vex in lane until he hits level 6. Because, oh, what is going on? Top side, I feel like, oh, Darius manages to live that. But anyway, so sadly enough, Vex was not able to be kept in lane because they both were so low. But I did hope to see Veigar use his outplay button and just one-shot the Vex and get a free kill. But luckily for Vex, he had the foresight to recall.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of the outplay button. He was 5, so I don't think Vex was really in too much danger, but you do have to worry. With the Predator boots... Oh, unfortunately, Vygar did not get boots here. I was going to say, with the Predator boots probably coming across, he's going to be able to run him down, but he augments into the Mana Crystal and the early Amp Tome, so I don't know exactly what that's about, but this is Vex fighting the Zac, and Vex does too much damage for you right now. That's going to be a solo kill onto the Zac for the Vex.
Yeah, and I feel like I really don't know why Zac was there. I don't know if he cleared vision. I feel like he was spotted out on the control ward in the pixel brush. Oh,
This
and
is...
there goes the exhaust.
Aatrox bleeding out, but yeah, really good exhaust. Able to find the kill as Django just got a little bit too greedy. I said it from last game. He constantly is making these plays where it's just too greedy at times. But, I mean, that one does pay off for Elsa from Frozen. Does burn both the sums, but it's worth it in the end.
Honestly, it really is. And I think that what happened was Darius completely disrespected the exhaust. If he even realized that he had the exhaust. I feel like he shouldn't have tried to take that fight, knowing that Aatrox had 6, knowing that he hadn't ulted yet, and knowing that he still has exhaust up. I feel like that was a huge misplay from the Darius, knowing all of that and still trying to engage so close.
And this is going to be an easy kill onto the Ezreal from the Karma, and this might be a return kill onto the Jhin. No, they forced the flash out of the Jhin. Hecarim goes onto the Karma. A little bit of damage coming through, and the shielding goes down. Oh, unfortunate.
Huge
Karma
healing
does
from
manage
her
to
and
survive. Yeah, that's a huge shield. And it's just going to be a 1-for-0 there as they do find the kill on the Ezreal, who burned Flash there as well.
Yeah, beautifully played by Karma. So when Karma, for those of you that don't know, whenever Karma uses her ultimate, it creates, oh, what's going on mid lane? And I think that is just, oh, I really don't know about that flash, buddy.
Yeah, that is just going to be an absolute shellacking of the Vygar. Hecarim smartly using his unstoppable R to get the fear off on the Vygar, who in turn is just, pushed up towards the Darius and the Vex, which he did not want to go towards. And then they are able to find the kill off of, more layered CC, and then the flash from Vygar is just not where he wanted to hit. He hit the wall and wasn't able to go across anyways, and I think Hecarim would have been able to pull him back even if he did.
Yeah, but so for future reference, those that don't know about Karma, so whenever Karma decides to use her her ultimate, it upgrades her 3 basic abilities, and Karma's chain, whenever she uses the upgraded version of that chain, any damage that she takes, I think like a percentage of the damage that she takes, she heals back. So that healing mixed with the shield is what kept her alive from that Hecarim.
And we do see a little bit of gold advantage coming out here from FroggyStyleSun, and waiting in the wings are both the junglers ready for counter ganks here. I do think Zac might be the first to move. Aatrox has a lot of chip damage onto this Darius, and This is Vigar roaming up as well. Hecarim playing even more defensively now, just really hoping that he can save his top laner's life if the need arises. But he will kill this ward here, and Aatrox is definitely going to stop that back. Oh, unfortunate.
Very unfortunate for Darius.
And I want to say, outside of maybe the mid lane skirmishes, Yao-K Infinite is winning across the map, and they might not be winning anymore as Vex does have ulti up, but decides against it.
Yeah, I don't really know why Vex chose not to engage there, because even though, it is Jhin Karma, neither of them have flash. So if she decided to ult in with fear, I think they would have been too CC'd and too, basically unable to do anything to actually respond to that.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't think that Vigar is gonna like this tent that's been set up in his lane. But I will say it's more of a response tent, as Vex did get sat on for much of the early game by the Zac. So I think that this mid lane matchup is not going in the direction of Yao-K Infinite, but they're okay to trade that away for what's been happening across the map outside of that, as Hecarim does get the gank off on the Jhin. And once again, those shields, they're huge, and the heal does come in. Jin's going to live this, but it did take a lot to let him survive here. Good ult coming through from the Ezreal, and even better dash is coming through from the Hecarim.
Yeah, and I do want to say that the net worth of that abilities and summoner spells wise, the only thing that they had to do was heal and Karma Shield. And the move speed and the shield from Karma Shield just absolutely clutched that for the Jhin. Hecarim did use Ghost, and Ezreal did ult, so I feel like that has a little bit of worth for the side of Yao-K Infinite. But, I mean, I don't know how long that worth is going to, last.
Agreed. As we do see Yao-K Infinite looking back towards this top lane, there is a ward there, so Zac is going to be spotted out, and Darius will play more defensively. But once again, more action towards this mid lane. Constantly, as Vex does look at the Karma roaming up here, but won't get anything happening here. Karma does not really have a great gank potential if Vex is playing, so defensively in lane.
Yeah, and I want to see a dragon come out from FroggyStyleSun, and it looks like they're actually going to go for it. I don't know if they're going to. Yeah, they have enough priority for mid, and Vex being a menace. And
this is going to be a trade over, though. Yeah, nice cross map here. And I was going to say, I think Darius might try to contest this, not give them first tower, as Ezreal does throw his ult up top, and Aatrox is going in under the tower. If Darius would have grabbed there, that could have been a huge pull here. But Hecarim does look to go bot after he obtains the dragon, gets the fear off on the Karma, who's going to die here for sure. And yep, they are going to give it over to the Hecarim again, while Darius dies topside in the 2v1. I want to say I would have just given tower at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think you're going to live. Well, obviously you're not going to live, but...
Oh, beautiful dodge by the Jhin. Huge. But Darius burned both summoner spells and lost first turret to Zac and Aatrox, and Aatrox only had the ult and exhaust. So honestly, that was really bad plays by Darius. He should have just given the turret, recalled, or just sat back and collected the wave that was going to eventually come over, because the Herald was not up for a second charge. It was already dead by the time that turret fell. So I honestly feel like he should have just given that turret and said, you know what, they got me here. Just basically respected the amount of damage they can do under turret to him, even though he used both summoner spells.
Yeah, and I think here in the bot lane, as much as Ezreal hasn't really been doing well as far as the fights have looked, he has had some good ultimates and overlaid. He has been farming very, very well, up about 300 gold here on the Jhin, and he's going to be a problem come late game. Even into the mid game, Ezreal has a really good 2-item spike, so I do expect to see FroggyStyleSun play a little bit more around that bot lane. They do have a pretty accelerated jungle mid, so we might even see those engages coming out like we talked about earlier. But it's all up to Yao-K Infinite and see how those counter engages go.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how Hecarim uses this lead. I want to see which lane he tries to snowball. And by the looks of it, he's just going to try to, snowball mid and bot. Because top lane, he kind of can't gank anymore because Darius has pretty much given Aatrox a free lead. So top lane's pretty much just a no-go at this point. I don't really feel like he has the capability. Now, he could and risk it, but the risk far outweighs the
Zach does jump onto the Yuumi. Yuumi does drop ulti, but this is one of the forms of CC that we talked about earlier where Yuumi could just be deleted. Vex caught out here in the cage, and Yumi's going to be gone for nothing. It might just be a 1-for-0, but Darius trying to scrap up here in the top lane. Aatrox with that move speed is just so fast. But the great engage by Hecarim onto the Vygar, and that is Fonzo finding another cleanup kill here. Hecarim might want to
looking for a dive.
Top? Yeah, I think so. This might be cross-map dives. Aatrox is going to get wise and move back off of his tower here. But is Ezreal. He does get jumped on by the Zac. Might have E up here. Ultimately might fall as the Zac does manage to find the kill. That's just not worth overall. I mean, it's a 1-for-1 cross map, but Yuumi might get caught out here too. I wouldn't even contest that. But in my mind, you're really not playing the worth game. Darius is in a much weaker state than your Ezreal was in. So playing for Darius when you should be playing for anyone else.
My goodness.
My goodness, that damage that came out there. I said he was weak. I take my words right back. He just absolutely decimated that man with Hecarim coming in to clean up that kill. I want to watch the replay back. I think he went from roughly 70% health down to 20%. That was just half his health bar gone in an instant.
Yeah, I feel like Aatrox kind of tunnel vision on the fact that he was low and that exhaust was almost coming up as well as his ultimate. So I don't exactly know why he decided to fight that because Darius did have 4 passive stacks on him. And I think had he realized that, he would have backed up instantly. So that was actually a huge disrespect from Elsa from Frozen. I feel like he needs to be more aware of the situation that is currently going on. Not just what he wants to do, but also what the enemy has the capability of doing. And I think that while he had that in the back of his mind, I don't think that he respected him, and that is why he got pretty much 100-0 by Darius' ultimate, and that ultimately put Darius. Actually, no, he didn't even collect that kill, so it didn't put him on the board, but it did give Hecarim another kill, which snowballs him even further.
Yeah, and I want to point out, as much as the game has been teetering back and forth with kills, almost every member from FroggyStyleSun is ahead in farm. The only one not being the Vex, and she's only down by less than half a wave as she...
Jesus!
Oh my god, I thought that was Vex for a second, but my goodness, is that Yuumi absolutely gone. And now this might just be the Ezreal gone as well. The chain does land, and...
Outplay button.
Yeah, outplay button. There's no eating away from that, Ezreal. You are dead. And I do like the prioritization coming out from Yaoke Infinite. They gave away Ocean Soul last game. Soul, and they didn't even garner a dragon. So this game they were like, you know what, we're not gonna have that. It's not happening. As they do make a cross map here for FroggyStyleSun, able to get a little bit more here. Vex is deleted. No outplay button needed. Just that. I wanted to look for a second to see if Zac was going AP. He does have 9 stacks on his Dark Seal, but he is just tank, and he is just deleting people.
And look how little damage that.
Oh
Jesus.
My goodness!
The damage.
That was a very bad misplay for the side of FroggyStyleSun. They just inted away 2 or 3 kills there. He Ezreal tried to ult through and then TP in on the tower to capitalize on what his ult had, but he just immediately died. He was absolutely deleted in that time frame.
Yeah, and I do want to say that both tier 1 and tier 2 of Upside fell. I feel like that was a good response to the absolute demolition of Vex and Ezreal in the mid lane. But we have to remember that these kills are going over to Zac, who will eventually end up being so tanky that no one can touch him, and that mixed with his passive basically makes him unkillable. Now imagine what he could do if he buys a Guardian Angel. Basically invincible. So we do need to keep that in mind. Jhin is 1-0-6. They're doing very well as in terms of staying alive. So I think that OK Infinite has that like as a safety net just in case they have any kind of misplays or anything that potentially could go wrong. I do love the fact that FroggyStyleSun is farming, but at this point, the only one who's actually doing well enough is well enough to stay in the game and do enough in team fights is Hecarim, and I don't really think that'll save him.
Oh, I want to point out the misplay right here as Hecarim does manage to get the kill. Or no, Yuumi actually gets the shutdown on the Vygar, but oh my goodness, the healing coming out of the Aatrox absolutely decimates the Hecarim. Yuumi to follow, Vex to follow after that. That is just ridiculous. Like, I was going to talk about the fact that you need heal cut, like, right now for the side of FroggyStyleSun, and then to follow that up with, like, hey, maybe, Hecarim is your shining light. But Hecarim made a huge misplay here. He eased the Vygar onto the squishy backlane that is Ezreal and basically gives Vygar a free kill. Vygar just smashes his R button and he's dead. And now Darius is trying to, scrounge up something here as he bursts, or he pops the ghost. And nothing doing. But, just so much outplay and so much misplay in that same fight. Unfortunately for them, Gore Drinker plus Aatrox R equals he gets a full health bar every single time. But yeah, I think for the side of FroggyStyleSun, if they don't find a way to right the ship, and very quickly at that, it is going to be a lost game.
Yeah, I feel like Yuumi would need to buy Chemtech Purifier and pretty much drop the false image in her head of her out healing all of the damage that OK Infinite is putting out. Because we do have the infinite mechanical skill of Veigar ult, to have the damage coming out from Zac, who now has a 700 gold bounty and is pretty much just building full tank with 10 stacks on a Darkseal. So the hybrid damage is just insane. So, what is going on?
Yeah, this is Darius winning the 1v1, but unfortunately for him, it's not a 1v1 any longer. Zac jumps in, and that is just a splash. Literally taking his own name into account and saying, hey, I splash better than anyone else. Zac is my character. And that was almost a double hit on the Ezreal R for the Jin.
He took damage.
I'm little questionable about that, as Karma does try to run away, manages to flash the wall.
Flash.
Yeah, and I do believe she popped the Shirelias as well, so that will be flash Shirelias down, but I mean, you don't die there. That is a key point. You're keeping the FroggyStyleSun in check. You're not letting them get kills. You're not letting them snowball. And suddenly this comp that was ahead early game is into the mid game, and you have one member that's really going to be able to output the damage that you want, and that's Hecarim.
Yeah, Ezreal is not doing as well as we had hoped with the Conqueror setup. He will not be doing that much damage in team fights. The only one who will actually be able to carry these fights is Hecarim and maybe Vex. Maybe. Hard maybe on that. But on the flip side, they do seem to be making some decent calls, because remember earlier they took tier 1 and tier 2 of topside as a response to the demolition of mid. But I really don't know if that's worth it, because top lane is a longer lane, which means it would be harder to push as compared to mid lane, where you just push 2 waves instead of 3 or 4, and you're instantly at their base. So I feel like they made some decent calls, but not as good as they could be.
Yeah, I want to point out here a couple of things across the board. We do see a Triforce come out from Ezreal here and Darius. I don't think this is the correct itemization for Ezreal in this matchup. I think he would have been better off with something like the Divine Sunder, or even maybe... No, I think Divine Sunder is the right call, actually. And then I want to point out, Hecarim immediately went towards Magic Resistance as his second item. So while he is, more tanky, you have that damage fall off, and that was like a
microsecond pause.
Yeah, a micro pause there for a second. It threw me off for a second, but yeah. So we don't have much more damage coming out from the Hecarim. He still will get the additional damage from his speed. That I forget what the name of that item is, but it's equivalent to Dead Man's Armor for MR. And now I think we have a... Yes, Force of Nature, correct. I think we have a pause here.
No, I think it's just a glitch in the...
Okay.
That happens
yeah, okay. Yeah, so a slight delay there, but all the matter, we're fine here. But yeah, I think that the damage is falling off for FroggyStyleSun, and even though it's tank related, the damage is just piling up for the side of okay Infinite.
Yeah, and I feel like that Triforce on the side of Ezreal was more of a misplay than we might realize. I would have loved to see Divine Sunder or Bork, and then on top of that having the Miramana. I feel like that would have been a lot better of items, specifically because you get extra healing from Divine Sunder as well as the Bork, because let's not forget Ezreal's Q can proc on-hit effects, which would proc the slow from Bork and the healing as well. And on top of that, you get more healing from Divine Sunder, but he didn't choose to do that. We already know that Aatrox is going to be really tanky, or not tanky, but bruiserish. We already know that Zac is going to be very tanky. Then on top of that, you're going to need that extra sustain to deal with the Jhin and the Karma. So I feel like that was more of a misplay than people might realize, because he is so far behind and he is so weak when it comes to dealing damage in team fights.
I want to point out something real quick. We do have second item breakpoints come through for Vygar. He finished an entire death cap. So he is very, very strong. Aatrox picked up the Sorelda's Grudge, so he is strong as well. I mean, obviously more strong than the Darius at this point, but Darius is getting caught out top lane. Aatrox and Karma chasing him down. And like I said before, Aatrox picked up the Sorelda's. That slows your movement speed just like an Frozen Mallet would, although Frozen Mallet is removed from the game. And that is a pick onto the Darius there.
Yeah, and that was actually a beautiful counter itemization. Oh, what is going on in the mid lane? Let's see some of that damage.
This is going to be a little bit of a jump. Ooh, a nice buffer, though, does catch Zac out of his animation. And you do burn, I think that is an ult and a half there. I'm not sure if anyone else popped a summoner spell. Vygar did flash. So that will be ult and flash off of Vygar. But now, okay Infinite are just jumping towards the Baron. You do have TP coming in here from Ezreal, but what is he going to do? He's 0-5-3 at this point.
Yeah, and I feel like he was trying to maybe teleport in to stop that wave from crashing, so that way they couldn't do Baron in time. But I could be wrong on top of that.
I think he just maybe did it for some tempo, but this is Hecarim getting jumped on by the Aatrox. The fear comes through. Vex is still doing a lot of damage right now, and if anyone is going to help them win this fight, it is going to be her. However, she does not have ultimate up, and this is going to be red buff going over to Aatrox.
Yeah, I feel like teleport on Vex was not as good here, specifically because the Aatrox healing and the Karma healing.
Meanwhile, we do have Darius constantly fighting, and he's just going to get absolutely destroyed as three men collapse on top of him. And Wango, the unsung hero from last game, doing everything he could on the Fiora, just not finding that same success, not able to play the Darius to the same tick that he was able to play the Fiora.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, there's definitely going to be a game 3, and I am fully expecting to see that Zac ban and the Aatrox ban.
Well, definitely there's going to need to be some change as Karma and the whole crew are here. Hecarim not able to jump away. He does manage to dash away with his R, and the fear does come out from the Vex. But unfortunately, you cannot get away from this Aatrox. He pops his R button, he pops his Q button, and he pops both Hecarim and Vex. And that is going to be it. I'm pretty much calling it time of death 28-10 at this point. Barring some miraculous turnaround here, I think this is just okay Infinite having this game in the bag.
Yeah, and I want to see them. Part of them, I basically want to see them split. 3 on Dragon, 2 responding to the mid lane, maybe someone going top. I don't think that all 5 of them need to be here because not everyone. There's only 3 people alive on the side of FroggyStyle. We see 1 top lane responding to the wave, and we just saw 1 go blue side from mid. I honestly believe that, what's going on with the pause here? I think it's more of a glitch in the system. But I did want to see more of a split happen to respond to some of these waves to keep that tempo that they had in place for that dragon. But, it is what it is. They still managed to pick it up, and they might be looking to set up for a Baron here.
Yeah, I think they decided against it, as they do manage to just get their backs off and try to get more tempo on the map. Although I don't know what much more you want. maybe just to push the waves out, but you have everything you need right now to secure the Baron and most likely in the game. The longer you go, the longer these people get their items up, get their stacks up, and you're gonna have a tougher time playing into an Ezreal with 5 items than you are with 2.5 at 30 minutes. So I would be very careful how long you let this game go and how adamant you are about, playing it out. But it does seem like this is just going to be Darius getting caught out here again. Zach and Aatrox finding the kill. A nice heal does come out from the Q, and he will be saved by his teammates here. But it's still not enough. He's just constantly getting caught. Same scoreline as the Ezreal now, and I think they are confident enough to maybe fire up this Baron.
I
Aatrox
think
does
that's a
clear
Baron
the
call.
ward, but no, still playing this very cautiously, still playing this very disciplined. And I think they just really don't want to flip a Baron. Don't give FroggyStyleSun the ability to maybe, get a lucky Hecarim ulti over the wall or miss smite from their jungler. They're just going to play this game slow and steady and make sure that they don't get outscaled and don't give anybody the ability to steal.
Yeah, I can respect the amount of discipline, the team-wide discipline that Infinite has when it comes to that Baron, because they want to minimize all risk of FroggyStyleSun coming back from this absolute stomp that they just got themselves into.
Yeah, and this is going to be Darius trying to find something here, but you're just not able to find anything. Even if Aatrox does get low, his healing when he pops his R and just hits that Gore Drinker is astronomical, and I still don't see much heal cut from either team, to be honest. Even so, there is a Mountain Soul that is about to be taken by Yaoke Infinite. I mean, we see heal cut coming out from Darius, and actually I think that's it from their team. Yeah, I don't see anything else. And then for the opposite side, I don't see anything but the Karma Oblivion Orb, which is most likely going to turn into a Kimpunk Putrefier, which will in turn go to the whole team. But still, not much heal cut coming out overall. Oh, Zach does have the Thornmail too. I see that now.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a really good. Oh, I just stumbled over my words. What is wrong with me? That is a very good source of heal cut for the entire team, specifically because he is so tanky and so unkillable. He has Spirit Visage, he has Thornmail, and then on top of that, he went ahead and upgraded his Dark Shield to a Medjai's. So the next team fight that pops off, if Yaoke Infinite manages to win that, which most likely they will. Wow, I am just on a roll today. Even if they manage to fall a little bit, I feel like there is enough of a safety net for them to still come out on top of that team fight. And I think they're just going to look for a Baron here. That's what they should do, honestly.
Yeah, I think they're tired of wasting time. They do seem to pull the trigger on the Baron, and the waves are pushed out. There's going to be a notice of this from FroggyStyleSun, and the ult does come through. They notice how low it is. He does go over the wall. Does he smite? He's stolen the Baron! What a play by FPL! And they did exactly what they did not want to do. They gave up the 50-50. And what a play coming out from the jungler for FroggyStyleSun. And it Brent on IP with a good ulti there to just notice how low the Baron was. And you have 4 Barons still alive. You didn't give up much else. There will be Mountain Soul going over to Yaoke Infinite here in about 30 seconds, if that. But Darius is pushing freely on the top side. Stop. What? Whoa. Oh, the mountain. Oh, he had Bansheesville. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the mountain shield, but it definitely threw me off for a second there.
This is so point for them, but they don't have it yet.
You do see Wango just pushing that side lane. I am a little surprised. I feel like if you're going to commit to this, maybe just build the Hull Breaker. I know it's not the best item on Darius, but maybe, just try to get you what you can. Pack is over here clearing the ward's top side. They are going to go ahead and give the Mountain Soul, so that will go across. But that is a huge steal and elongates the game for the side of FroggyStyleSun.
Yeah, and I feel like this is probably a very long shot and probably not very likely, but I feel like their backup plan for if that Baron decides to go south was, okay, so let's say that Hecarim jumps over that wall, kill him instantly, and that'll set up Dragon Force when we get sold. I feel like that might, I say again, very, very small chance, but might have been that safety net for the side of okay, Infinite, because they know how strong the Hecarim Steel is. They know that they will not be able to respond to it because he's unstoppable when he jumps over that wall. So honestly, I feel like they still had they had enough foresight to not only see that coming, but to have a backup plan. And that is how well meshed this team is together. They have plans and then they have backup plans. And I wouldn't doubt if they had backup plans for the backup plan. So this is actually very, very good response from the side of okay, Infinite. Not just because they did manage to secure it. Oh, he is getting caught out again and again.
Yeah, Darius jumped on by the Zac. Does flash and burn Ghost here, but he is getting collapsed by the rest of okay, Infinite. Unfortunately, they decide to turn up and go for the Vex, who is forced to flash over the wall, but Darius is still coming in behind. Might
like
just get himself caught out. Yeah, he does have the rest of his team converging, and that is going to be a Yumi R. Oh, but this might be huge for the side of FroggyStyleSun. Oh, the healing and the shielding coming out for Aatrox. Just so much damage averted. They do manage to get a couple of kills. Oh, no, he lives. Vigar lives. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so that is just going to be 2 kills going over to okay, Infinite. I did think that there was an answer back there, but Vigar lived on no HP. It wasn't even a heal that came out from Jhin either. He just kind of survived there. Maybe the Mountain Soul Shield came back up or whatever it may be. But
it was actually Karma's Eve.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I don't think we have any shield cut either for the side of FroggyStyleSun.
They have too many things they have to respond to. But look at the shutdown that Ezreal has. He's 0-5-3 and has a 400 gold bounty because he is just a power farm.
Yes, 345 farm at 36 minutes, and he is just doing what he can. We said he wasn't having the best game, but he is definitely trying his best.
Yeah, and I mean that's just the, just the gold the bounty system giving him that shutdown just because of the 352 farm he has in 36 minutes. Being 0-5, that is actually extremely impressive. He has 4 items compared to Jin's 3. He is close to Flame Horizoning Jin and CS, and that is actually a very, very good response from I burn when it peaks. It burns when I peak.
Yeah, I think. Excuse me. I think if they are going to win this game, FroggyStyleSun, barring everything that has already happened, they're going to need Elder Dragon and to play around this Jinx and this Ezreal.
Elder Dragon is the teetering point for FroggyStyleSun. Not all hope is lost.
Yeah, I think they have 4 minutes timer on the inhib before it respawns, and 2.5 minutes before Elder comes back up, and a minute on Baron. So, barring FBL stealing another Baron, which would be ridiculous and overwhelming at this point for the mentals of okay, Infinite. I know for me it would definitely be almost mental breaking. You could possibly see a huge fight that just decides the game at Elder Dragon.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that the 2 people who are doing the worst on the side of FroggyStyleSun has the most CS. Just want to point that out. And that's actually a beautiful response and game plan because they know that Darius, when he has items, is a powerhouse. Same for Ezreal. So they're going to go ahead and put Darius in the bot side to get that beautiful farm from the super minions. And then on top of that, Ezreal is going to just absorb as much gold as he possibly can just to try to have a chance to come back. So the next team fight that happens, I honestly think if they buy Heal Cut, which I can see Yumi now has Heal Cut, Darius has Bramble Vest, and that's really about it. They're going to need a little bit more than that. But they also need some Shield Breaker items as well because that's Shield from the Karma and the passive from Sterak's Gauge. I think I did see a Sterak's, either it was Sterak's or it was Karma with her empowered shield. But I mean, even then, what is going on? What is going on?
Oh no, Hecarim's trying. He's trying to get this low. He's trying to steal again, and he nearly steals. Unfortunately, he does die, as does the Yumi, and this might just be game. You cannot die here if you're Ezreal. Oh, but there's no choice for you. Triple kill goes over to the Jhin, and that might just be all she wrote. Wango Unchained trying to get the kills here, trying to push out that bot lane so they do not have a wave, but all 5 members of Yaoke Infinite just pushing that top side in. I would say that FroggyStyleSun has subdued it a good bit. They pushed in mid and bot very, very hard, so it's going to have to be a 5v2 in the top side, and this is all you can push here.
Yeah, and I honestly think that it was a mistake right there for Vex to recall, because Yaoke Infinite probably most likely cannot end, because Yumi's going to come back up.
Don't know. This might... Oh, no, I think you're right.
Yeah, they
but if you
end.
can stop some of these backs, that might just be the play here.
No, honestly, I think what should have been the play was Vex continues to push mid, gets that mid tier 2, which opens up the bot lane tier 2 to be able to be taken. And in turn, that evens out the map just a little bit more than Molten. Oh my goodness, the damage through bone plating was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, that is a little ridiculous there, but I mean, you are at 40 minutes with a probably Gathering Storm Vigar. And I think you're right here. The Vex probably should have stayed mid. You could have pushed that in, got that tier 2, and then on top of that, got some prio towards this Elder Drake that if you lose Elder Drake, there's no coming back.
Yeah, and Ezreal burns ult, which is actually really bad because what is going on?
Yeah, but on the opposite side, Darius is just running around with that Yuumi on his back, much like we saw back in I believe that was season 11, season 10, where it was Garen Yuumi bot lane. I had a lot of fun with those interactions, but Vex does get jumped on by the Zac, burns Flash, unfortunately, and as does the Ezreal there. I'm not 100% sure why, and his ult is up on a really low cooldown, I will say.
Yeah, I think his ultimate cooldown was decreased.
On this patch? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, on this patch.
And Darius just jumps into the middle of 3 there, does get out with Mikhail's from the Yuumi, and he is running for his life. Aatrox trying to knock him up, but he is just a squiggly squid. Oh my, okay, yeah, that cooldown definitely got reduced.
I think Hecarim might just go for this.
Yeah, he's just positioning on the bottom side, and unfortunately for Darius and Yuumi, there's no way you get out here. And all the while, just buying time for the super minions to push in into the base. And now Yaoke Infinite say, hey, forget the Elder. We're just going to take your base. You don't want to back? You want to play this? Hey, I'm going to try to steal? We're just going to steal all your minions and then the Nexus.
Yeah, I feel like if Yaoke Infinite... FroggyStyleSun were to try to take that.
Hecarim goes into the backline here, doesn't really find anything. Vex might have a kill on the Karma, does dive into the backline, finds the fear. Vigar is relatively low, but this is just the end of the game. You can't stop this.
Yeah,
and that's
very well played from Yaoke Infinite.
Anticlimactic, I will say, but very good game out of both sides. Yaoke Infinite finding the advantages and just ultimately running the show the whole game.
That was beautifully played. Beautiful response to the first game.
Yeah, my goodness. That game was forever and a day and just was all over the place. Really good job. We're going into a game 3, and I'm going to need to take a second, get a drink of water, and use the restroom.
Me too.
So we're going to throw it to a break, and we will be back shortly with the draft.
seasons come and go like thoughts of you. Like a wave returns to the sea into the blue. They change but in a cycle that I can't lose. Each painful but delightful to live through. You came into my life just like another season. Not for long, just a time, just like another season. You came into my life just like another season. Not for long, just a time, just like another season. The seasons turn and change just like your mind. Like the sun gives into the moon, into the night. Time continues marching, it slowly crawls. With each new one starting, I recall. You came into my life just like another season. Not so long, just a time, just like another season. You came into my life just like another season. Not so long, just a time, just like another season. Come my way this season.
I've been running for so long, unclear about the path I was on. I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own soul, but you came, you made me see the weight I put on me was too much, too tough to heal. I needed time, I needed to be still.
lips, they tasted like those cigarettes. Staring at the moon, we'd go to bed. In my arms, you're safe and sound, without a threat. And I can't wait to see what happens next. How far can we get?
Hello, guys, and welcome back to our Game 3 decider between FroggyStyleSun and Yeah OK Infinite. Game 1 definitely leaned the way of FroggyStyleSun. Obviously, they were able to take that home. Game 2, a bit more of just like total control from Yeah OK Infinite. FroggyStyleSun kept themselves in the game, but ultimately Yeah OK Infinite was able to pull them out. And I think Game 3 is just going to be hopefully a fight tooth and nail to the very end. We do see some of the standard bans for this series coming out. We see Jinx, Trindamere, and the Zillion ban get banned here. And then for FroggyStyleSun, we see Diana, Volibear, and Nautilus gone. So we may see that Zac come back, Zed.
Yeah, I would love to see that Zachary again.
And it does look like Vigard gets locked in. I like taking the Karma here for FroggyStyleSun. It's very flexible, like I said before, and it's still a very strong pick no matter what you pair it with.
Yeah, and I do want to slightly touch on the fact that nobody tried to target ban Yeah OK Infinite in the first 3 bans. I feel like that in itself was a mistake. Now, granted, all bans in this kind of league are target bans, but I want more specific bans, like based on the past games. There's the Zachary. Cool. We're just gonna.
So this might be a little bit of a salty run back for Yeah OK Infinite. I mean, not very salty on their case. They did win the game, but they already lost the Karma, and we'll have to see what FroggyStyleSun answers back with. I think they were okay with how Vigard was played against in lane. Like Vex did a wonderful job. I think their biggest grievance with that game was top lane. Darius was never really able to get ahead, and even then they weren't really able to do what they wanted to do, but they had a plan for the Zac. They draft a Poppy. You can't jump anywhere if that Stand Defiance says you can't go.
Yeah, that's actually kind of unfortunate for the Zac. And I do honestly want to see how Yeah OK Infinite tries to counteract the Poppy. They're going to have a very immobile team, and Poppy as a champion basically prevents dashes, slams you against the wall, sucker punches you a couple times, and then you're out.
And the Zeri is locked in. Okay, we did say that FroggyStyleSun's ADC was pretty explosive, and Zeri did get a couple of buffs from this patch, I do believe. So she's in not a great spot like she was a couple patches ago, but she's in a decent spot now. Couple that with the Karma and the ability to not get jumped on by the Zac with the help of the Poppy, and I think this could be a really good draft from FroggyStyleSun so far.
And there was no Zeri buffs, actually. I'm kind of surprised because
It
Zeri
wasn't?
was kind of gutted last patch. No, there's no Zeri
Did she get a mid-patch update then? Because I remember that she had some of her nerfs scaled back.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Once I see patch notes each time like a new patch hits, I never really pay attention to mid-patch. So I don't honestly know what to say about that. But I do enjoy the Ashe on the side of Yeah OK Infinite. And I think their biggest thing is, okay, you want to take our Karma? Fine, we're going to take your Ashe. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really take it since Zeri was already picked, but we're basically going to use your strong side against you.
Yeah, and I think this is, once again, really good pick out. We saw FroggyStyleSun use the Ashe to couple with like the Zillion and the the jungle, the Graves from game 1 to like absolutely jump on somebody and make sure that they couldn't move and they were 100-0, which it's a little bit more difficult with Zac because he's not lethality. He does a lot of damage, but he is still going to be a tank. Luckily for the side of Yeah OK Infinite, right now there's not really a tank on FroggyStyleSun. I mean, you have a Poppy that if it goes top lane, it will be tankier with the grass build and probably going into the Sunfire Aegis. But if it is jungle, you're most likely going to get a lethality and or pseudo tank Poppy, which is not really going to be the most tanky thing in the world. And we do see Yuumi and Braum bans come out as well. So this is going to be not necessarily a run back of last game or game 1, but something similar in that aspect.
Yeah, and I want to see what Infinite decides to pair with the Ashe. I want to see something that empowers her all-in capability and really like gives it more of a backbone, because if you hit that Ashe ultimate, sure, so like 4 seconds at max range of CC, but we also have to remember, okay, there's the Blitzcrank.
Oh, I'm so excited! Blitzcrank
excellent.
is my number 1 champ. I have over 250,000 mastery. That is my highest mastery. I am, number 1 Blitzcrank player in NA, I do have to say. But seeing him in the competitive atmosphere always makes me so happy. Ignar, one of the supports that plays in NA or did play in NA, was a common Blitzcrank offender, and I just love this character. And into the team that FroggyStyleSun has right now, it's going to be even better when you look for pick, because the Ashe arrow is going to be coupled with the Blitzcrank hook coming out over the top now, and then the Vygar cage is just going to be able to shut down whoever does get pulled. So I'm very much loving this right now. I think FroggyStyleSun does need some more engage and tank.
And there's the Ornn.
That does both of those things very, very well. So I'm liking the comp that is coming out of FroggyStyleSun. The problem with the response by Infinite is, if you catch anyone that is not Ornn, I will say, they're probably dead. If you catch them with an arrow, if you catch them with a hook, if you catch them with Vygar cage
ability, and there's a set. Oh boy, I actually really love that set pick, and I will get to that in a moment. But Blitzcrank is going to have to use his Blitzcrankiness early and not late. That is going, like, late game is going to have to fall over to Set and Zac. And the reason that I love Zac here is because, let's say that Ornn decides to engage on the team, right? Ornn is very tanky, and for those that do not know, Set's ult damage scales with the max HP that the person that he's ulting. So, for instance, let's say that Ornn is getting ulted by Set. Set's ultimate's going to do more damage compared to if Set decided to try to ult the Victor. So that could actually be a serious counter to that Ornn pick, especially for team fights. I'm loving the Zac. I'm loving the Vygar, especially because they needed AP and they got it. They have infinitely scaling AP with that Vygar. And not only that, Zachary is going to do a lot of damage if he builds that Magi's again. Ashe is going to cover the AD as well as the Set. They have a very tanky team, and I don't really know how they could potentially mess this up.
Well, it is almost time for us to get those predictions in, but before we do, I do just want to point out one other thing. We do have Poppy is going to be a jungler here. So, like I said before, it's going to be pseudo tank Poppy, and I really like this is for the counter ganks here, but it does not stop the set R. Poppy's W does not stop the set R because he is unstoppable during that time. So I just wanted to point that out to everyone. But while we have that all done and we've talked about the comps, who do you think's going to win?
I'm actually going to have to give... I'm going to throw my support behind FroggyStyle this time.
Oh, you're flip-flopping. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand, though.
It's because of the aggressiveness that Poppy will have with the ganks. It's because of the Ornn items. It's because of Victor being a late game champion. Karma as a very strong support. Like the mesh, or not the mesh, but the what's the word that I'm looking for? The teamwork that she's going to have with the Zeri in the bot lane. The huge all-in from the Zeri ultimate mixed with Karma's shield and speed up is just going to be massive. I actually think that FroggyStyleSun has a chance to pull this off if they play it properly.
Well, you know what? I've always been a confrontationalist. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm making it one today. I'm going to go for Infinite. My mind's telling me that the Ornn Horn is going to bring it home, but my heart My heart says Blitzcrank is on the team. That means that team wins the game. So I am very excited for this one. I'm taking okay Infinite for the dub. And we are going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we will get right into the game.
Heaven's what it was for you and I. The sun will rise.
Welcome back, guys. We are going to go out to the Rift here. We have OK Infinite back on the red side and FroggyStyleSun on the blue side. It does look like a little bit of an invade might be coming out here for OK Infinite, but I don't know what they're gonna get. Yeah, I commonly used to do this. Blitzcrank likes to hook over the wall into one of the bushes. Yeah, I prefer that one, but they did already have the ward there. So good job on FroggyStyleSun to have that that invade kind of figured out there.
Yeah, and I do want to point out the summoner spells real quick. So Ash has heal, but it burns 1 IP. By the way, I'm never going to refer to that ADC as the champion, always the username. Anyway, I burns 1 IP to cleanse, and I feel like it's to survive the early game from Blitzcrank, but I don't know how well it's going to happen because Blitzcrank's hook is an airborne, right? And then Blitzcrank has an airborne, in his kit. That's the ability. And you cannot cleanse an airborne with cleanse anymore. I don't think that was ever actually.
I think it is more so for the Ashe.
That's
You
what I'm
have
thinking.
the Ashe R coming out. You have the Ashe slows on the procs on her autos. So I think that's more what it's leaning towards. I did want to touch on something just before we got into the meat and potatoes of it. Poppy does have the phase rush keystone. So this is going to be a very fast, very mobile Poppy who is going to take advantage of the speed that they garner, probably with a turbo can tank or something along those lines. Because we do have a little bit of a skirmish here in top lane.
There's a lot of damage.
Much, yeah. Unfortunately, both of these guys are hyper damage tanks, so that's always fun to watch. As they could just slap each other like wet noodles, or they could, one hit kill the other one on occasion. Just a mixed bag there. But we do see pretty much standard play going all the way around. As I say that, Ornn is over here on like 20 HP, 20% HP, and might die to a nice little retweet here on the Zac. But oh my goodness,
Copy and paste. Copy and paste.
Yeah, honestly, it's just been like rinse and repeat with these two characters, with these two players here in the mid lane. Like, they did it 50,000 times last game, and I guess they want to just go right back to the same board that they had before. This might just be a kill here in the bot side. Poppy is here, manages to land the E, does force out both of the flashes from the bot lane of OK Infinite. They do get this passive spell shield on the Blitzcrank and the heal out from the Ashe, and somehow Ornn dies in the top lane.
Yeah, that was very, very good for the side of FroggyStyleSun, because now, oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be good altogether. That might just be Pack burning down. Does have to burn the flash, which this game it was taken on the support, as Zeri did have the cleanse, like we mentioned earlier. So a couple of summoner spells just burned all the way across the board. Interestingly enough, the Blitzcrank does have Hex Flash here. So I will say that is definitely something that's preference norm. I do like to take, I see a lot of Blitzcranks like to take the stopwatch item, so you can play more aggressively when that item pops. But it might just be another gank here.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, Zac in the mid lane. You can never count him out. Here comes Cage, possibly, but this is another, Cage does not land, and they do miss the initial CC, but I don't know if they have quite enough damage to finish this off. But you know who does have enough damage? FBL in the bot lane. Oh, Blitzcrank manages to land the hook, and I think that might just be a dead karma. Oh, it's a 1-for-1 ultimately. FroggyStyleSun does come ahead as far as the bot lane is concerned, but I don't think they're ahead across the map, as Set is just doing so much damage into the Ornn.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Blitzcrank hit that hook, and an assist did in fact go over to Ashe, who now has a Noon Quiver. She started Longsword first item, or as a starter item. So I feel like that was playing towards more of an early power spike to try to, in turn, snowball a little bit. Oh my goodness, this damage.
Yeah, Ornn just is getting beaten up left and right here, and it really doesn't look like he has an answer for it, as the side of okay Infinite is just winning across the board here now. I mean, bot lane is like your best place for FroggyStyleSun, but it's still not in the best spot. Ashe is still ahead in farm, and Blitzcrank is still a nuisance around the map. He does have the Glacial Augment, so anytime he lands those hooks, it is going to be even more difficult to get away.
Yeah, and I on the bot side, I do want to see them, FroggyStyleSun, turn this into a freeze, but it looks like Pack's just going to try to play aggressive.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe getting enough damage off to land the root as well, but unfortunately he is not, and Wango's just having to play weak side top, and not even weak side in the fact that he's constantly getting ganked. It's just weak side in the fact that he is weak. He's playing behind, and he is playing into a set that is just so massive at this moment. And unfortunately for Set, Wango is such a good CSer. Like we saw last game, he was 0-6 on Darius and still a nearly event horizon his lane opponent. And Zach is towards top here. This might just be a full-blown gank onto the Ornn.
Yeah, I feel like if Set gets level 6 from this, it would be really good.
Oh, but Ornn does manage to land the knockup onto Set. He finds the initial kill, flashes through the W, able to dash on top of him, but Set finds beautiful. 6 and slams him to his death. Oh, the tick over. Oh my goodness. On our scoreboard, it said that Set was still 5, but I do believe that he ticked over at the last second, right when the W went through, and he was able to get the R slam. And FroggyStyleSun's answering back the best they can. They are going to try to take this this Ocean Drake here, but I don't know if it's worth all in all. You lose 2 members across the top side of the map. You are going to lose some of the farm on the back of that too. Zach and your Set here taking what they can in the topside jungle. So
yeah, I feel like Set's going to be a lot more of a problem than we previously anticipated. Personally, I have the nickname for Set, Win Condition. That's my nickname for Set, because he is extremely strong into melee matchups, and that's exactly what Ornn is. Now, granted, he does have a little bit more counterplay when it comes to, you know, Set CC and his, you know, abilities that allow him to be, you know, the condition. But even then, you know, Set is extremely overpowered. And I think that he's playing it beautifully, extending. Oh, what is going on in this jungle?
Yeah, Poppy basically following Zach all the way back around throughout the jungle, and then it's just slowly actually able to catch up with him, and not able to find a kill though. Zach just bounces out and finally gets, you know, away. And I feel really bad for the Poppy here, because they took your whole top side. You were barely able to secure the kill bot, and then after that you're down 3 camps at this point. And to a Zach that you already saw last game was accelerated beyond belief.
Yeah, and I do think that even though Poppy does pretty much counter Zach in almost every way, Zach still has the potential to basically ignore that and be the absolute menace that he is able to be. Oh my goodness, that damage.
Yeah, I mean, Ornn does come out a little bit ahead here, but definitely a lot of damage coming out from both sides.
Yeah, and I think that Veigar was looking to turn that into a freeze in the mid lane, but I think that, oh no, he still has it frozen. It's just might need to trim it out just a little bit, but I think that he's trying to look for the Zach gank in any way that he can. I know that Victor knows this, and he's trying his best to just crash her into the tower, but you know, is much of a push that Victor has with his kit. I think that Veigar has equally, if not more, of a push because of his AoE damage and his Q just doing so much damage to the minions. And it looks like Zach's just coming back.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot they could get here in mid. I mean, maybe burn the flash off of Victor, but he sidesteps the cage pretty well, and Ornn and Set are up there having a nice slap fight. Ornn does call in the ulti, manages to land it, not able to follow up with the rest of his damage though, and he's at a severe disadvantage now. Poppy is up and around top side, but I
also
don't
so is Zach.
think Set is going to be able to do anything. Zach is here. Does have the sweeper. Looking
I
for
think
something.
yeah, he's just gonna go straight for it.
And the timing is so unfortunate. I think Orange just dead off of this. Yeah, he is. And now Poppy's got to hightail it out of there. Does burn the R. And
That's
what
unfortunate.
an interesting play. The Zach does flash behind, but still gets hit by the R. And Poppy able to turn onto the set. That was interesting there. I was like, I don't understand why she's going back in, but it does manage to work. Poppy finds the shutdown on the set and it scoundrels back a little bit of gold for the losses there on the Ornn.
Yeah, that's actually very good for Poppy. I think it was 600 gold that he got. And if Poppy is going lethality, I so badly want to see Prowler Squad because there is an inset combo that I just think is absolutely disgusting. I learned it from the in-gaming coach. He's a good buddy of mine, and we messed around in practice tool, and I tried that combo out, and it was disgusting, the potential that it has.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. If it's Prowler's Claw into E with W combo, because they can't flash. Well, they can flash, but they can't like dash away from that combo.
Yeah.
We do see a hard 3-man here towards the bot side. They do look like they want this next upcoming Drake in about 30 seconds, and I think they're going to get it if Ornn does not start moving down. He doesn't have TP up, and even if he does, he would only be able to go to a structure here. So I think that this might just be a little bit given over to the side of Infinite.
Yeah. I mean, even if Ornn decided that he was going to try to move 30 seconds before, he would show up late. I feel like it takes maybe 40 seconds to move across the map like that from topside, but I don't know the exact number. I think it's just going to be an uncontested dragon on the side. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's just uncontested. I can't really.
Oh, but they do manage to find the CC onto the Poppy. She is dead in a heartbeat. Set does slam the Zeri down. She is burning from the Ignite. Does get the shield from the Karma, rather. And then that is a easy kill for the Vygar onto the Victor. And that's like, you know that you're giving the Dragon. You're not contesting. Why? Why do you stand there and get too close?
Especially with running the risk of giving a double kill over to a hyper carry like Veigar and like Zet. So honestly, that was horribly played by FroggyStyleSun. That was a huge throw, and I think they're just going to snowball out of control at this point. I mean, Set is already massively ahead. He already has his board completed. What's going on? I think he's going to get caught out here.
A little bit of a head-to-head, and this might just be... No, he misses both the second R and the W knock brittle proc. So this might just be Ornn dying here, but Set is very close to... Yeah, unfortunately, he will flash away from that. I thought he was going to be able to Q for speed boost there, but I think he just missed the speed boost. And the R on the Poppy is canceled, and that forces him away. Unfortunately, the Rift Arrow will go over to the side of Infinite, and the game is looking like it's getting a little bit out of hand for the side of FroggyStyleSun.
Yeah, I think that the basis around why they're losing right now is because of that dragon fight. I really don't think there's anything that they can do unless Infinite misplays in some major way. I feel like that it's pretty much just they have to play passive and farm. Beautiful damage by Set. Beautiful damage.
Yeah, and you have a Set that's ahead 3-1-2. You have Vygar that's already scaling up very well with this 2-0-0 and a nice chunk of farm on him. And then your bot lane is not necessarily behind, but they're not really blowing the other bot lane out of the water too. But you have a lot of win conditions and you have a lot of power here in your picks as Infinite. For the side of FroggyStyleSun, you're just making it. You're trying to get this day, to the 30-minute mark, to the 40-minute mark, to where the Ornn takes over with his items and the Poppy is able to nullify some of that engage, and you're able to just, maybe all in onto the side of Infinite and not have to worry about the pick potential that comes from the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and I think that the team fight composition that FroggyStyleSun try to create in drafting phase, I think that is just completely negated now. I really don't think there's any objective control, objective priority thing, and beautiful assault. I think it might have been a little bit overkill because the FroggyStyleSun did not have enough gap close to actually manage to capitalize on it. Even if Poppy did land her E, there would be no walls around. I don't think so. I think that was maybe a little bit of an overkill, but nevertheless,
it looked good. It looked good. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Golden super arrow that hits the short Yordle in the face works every single time, and that is a dead Victor. That's just gone. No way for him to get out, and that is Ornn also gone. When you put the tandem of a tank killer and a giant tank in the top side, I believe the tank killer usually wins that one.
Yeah, I really do enjoy the set.
Yeah,
absolutely obliterating that.
Unfortunately for the side of Yaoke Infinite, they will manage to die here under tower, and this might just be a double kill going over to this area, which is what you do not want to see. As the Ashe does fall, Dash comes through, and every single person from FroggyStyleSun will live on the bot side at least.
Now,
so they do have
a
a ray of sunshine down there, but yeah, it's definitely tough for them.
Yeah, you know what would help that Ashe stay alive just a little bit longer and maybe pick up a kill or two? Her ultimate.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I think you're correct there. And this is Ornn fighting. Zac jumps in on top of him. Victor is here for a little bit of a response. CC does come down. Ornn is able to get absolutely obliterated by the set W, and now comes in Poppy. Victor trying to find a return kill onto Zac, and now his passive bombs are here. Is he able to survive? I don't think so. Into the wall, barely. But Vygar is here, and that W nearly finds a kill. Karma trying to chase down this set, but his passive HP regen is just ridiculous. And Vygar doesn't even need the R button to kill you. Actually, he might. Pack with the heal to save her own life and manages to get out there. So ultimately turns that into a 1-for-1, although a bunch of other things happened in that moment. I like the play. For a lot of people that don't know, you can sort of save Zac's life if you TP into one of his blobs, much like J4 flag or something of that nature, and that's going to be arrow just burned out the wazoo there. And a couple other like cool things from characters, specifically this game, as we get an engage here for Poppy on to Blitzcrank that forces out the flash, but nothing else going on. Drag is up now, and this might just transition into a whole team fight. Zac does find the knock-up onto 3, but Zeri does find the ult. Set hits somebody with a huge W. I didn't see exactly who he R'd in there, but he does manage to find the kill.
Oh my lord.
And that is just the side of Infinite finding a double kill, Set killing both Victor and Ornn, and once again, give the dragon. Go do anything else. FPL really wants to try to steal this. And he does with the R! Okay, I bite my tongue. Good job, FPL. I was like, there's no way you get this. Zac is here. He has smite. It's totally fine, but I did not respect the R damage that came out of the Poppy. I'm sure that Yaoke Infinite definitely didn't as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they are just jaws on the floor right now. But I feel like that was a one-time thing for FroggyStyleSun to be able to take that. I think that Yaoke Infinite might learn from that lesson, get some vision, try to get her, poked down enough to where she won't even dare try to step up. Because how many people were on that dragon? I think it was like maybe, I want to say 3 or 4?
I believe it was a 4v5. Yeah.
So, no, like while they were taking the dragon.
That was 4 individual members.
So I really don't think that 4 people needed to be on that. I feel like someone could have gone around and tried to like zone people off, so that way, small chance they do have to steal that dragon instantly becomes 0, just because there's some form of damage coming out.
I agree. And this is Zac jumping onto Victor, who may just get a solo kill here. He does smite for extra damage, and Victor might kill the Vygar, but he does manage to live. I do want to point out too, while we were having the whole talk about what happened around the dragon. Vygar did solo kill the Zeri in the bot lane. So he did get the kill there. And now it's just Ornn V2 again, like it has really been all game. He misses the second proc of his R. Oh, what a sad day. And honestly, this is just, it's starting to look really, really ugly again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping to see, I mean, like before, Zeri does have decent farm, all things considered. She has 2-1-1. She's farming pretty decently. So I think that the ADC is gonna have to be the focus point for FroggyStyleSun. And if they can't manage to get her fed enough to actually contest the Zet, to be able to contest the Zac and the Ashe ulti, and just the Veigar damage in general, I feel like that's going to be a huge number on the potential that FroggyStyleSun has with this ADC farming so well and staying in the game.
Yeah, and none of their characters are really out thanks to how well they do farm. Even Ornn, who now has 7 deaths in this game, is still out farming his counterpart. Granted, he is catching, waves of pushed up lanes, but he's still, out farming him at such a high tick when Set is literally his counter at this point. He has Bork, he has Gore Drinker. He is probably not going to die to anything that Ornn throws at him, and he's just so massively ahead right now.
Yeah, and he also has Mercury Treads, which then negates some damage, and CC from the entire team. It negates some damage from Karma and Victor. It negates some of the CC that Poppy has and that Ornn has. And then Zeri, he's just playing Set. There's really nothing they can do.
Yeah, okay, Infinite now starting up the Baron, and I don't think FroggyStyleSun has an idea of what's going on. Baron getting whittled down so quickly. Over half the health already dissipated from it. And yeah, I don't think FBL is going to be able to get into the pit. He does get ulted by Set, and good job by him to be able to keep him out of the pit. Followed up by the Vygar R. They do manage to find the kill on the FBL. And now Zac trying to leap in, trying to catch the Zeri. He does manage to find him. Now flashes forward to catch the R. Zeri has to flash away, but the ult from Ashe finds the Karma, and it's Knockup City. Bounce House Karma is going to die. Zeri barely finds... Oh no, she does die to the Q from Vygar. Karma trying to get away. Ashe able to find her with the W. No! The stun... the slow unable to hit, and Karma does manage to find her way out. What a good engage by both the Zac and the Ashe to re-engage with the arrow.
And this is part of the, excuse me. This is just part of the all-around, versatile team that they have. They have the potential for, skirmishes in the side lane. They have the good potential for team fights. They picked and drafted a very versatile team. And I think that they are not only using it to the fullest, but they're even, exploiting some maybe unknown limits they didn't. I just use the word how to speak right now. They need to. They're learning about things they did not previously know about, because the Set almost died maybe 5 or 6 times in fights, and he lived just based off his health regen. I think that even he expected he was going to die. So they're limit testing with some of these fights, and it shows by how little HP they have, and they still come out on top just because of the raw damage that they have the capability of putting out.
Understandable, and yes, it is completely okay for you to have a little slip of the tongue. It's been a long day and an even longer series, as this one is going to be our longest series of the season so far, no matter what going forward, as the time has surpassed the previous record. We do see that the drag is picked up by Infinite, and this might just be a pick onto the Karma. Karma does get hit by the Ashe arrow, and it is immediately grabbed up by the Blitzcrank pull. Like I said before at the beginning of the game, that is probably how you get your major pick out. That is how you get your major find there. And now with Baron, Infinite says, hey, we played really slow last game. We played very respectfully. We are going to push into your base. We are going to try to take this inhibitor turret. We're going to try to whittle you down, and we are going to try to end this game sub 30 minutes.
And the reason that I love the Baron buff is because a team being this far ahead, the Cannon Minion just gets to sit there and slowly whittle away at the turret. And there's nothing that they can do about it. It's just basically a carrot on a stick for them. Like, hey, come try to take this cannon and watch what happens.
Yeah, and this is now, yeah, okay, Infinite backing off. I think they are going to recoup here as the Baron should be wearing off any second now. Yeah,
Yeah,
you see it fall off completely, and their backs come through. They have a decent amount of gold to spend. You do have still some power points you can have here for yeah, okay, Infinite, but for FroggyStyleSun, what do? Your farm is immaculate. You guys have been farming with the best of them. I mean, honestly, to be down so far, you're being kept in this game by your individual skill as far as CSing. But as a team, you cannot team fight into the team of Yaoke Infinite. You cannot challenge these guys. You have nothing that your comp needs at this point in the game. So how do you continue to live?
Yeah, I mean the team that both of these guys drafted, right? FroggyStyleSun has a very like a more mechanical team. It requires more skill to play, whereas yeah, okay, Infinite have the extremely mechanical outplay button by Veigar. They have the set just takes everything and presses W and does 40,000 true damage. They have Ash with a point and click 4-second stun, and they just have a Blitzcrank generally just being a nuisance and setting up picks. I mean, they have the perfect, and not even to mention Zachary, who just goes in, takes no damage, and deals the same amount that he's taking against the entire team because of the subfire. This is a very well-crafted team, and I don't really think that FroggyStyleSun has the knowledge or mechanics to properly play around it. I don't think that they can focus well enough to find a win condition on that team because there are just so many of them.
And immediately the flash is burned out from the Ornn. He misses his second point of his R again, and he's getting jumped on constantly. If the Veigar cage comes out here, I think that might just be a death for him. He does turn around, and that R damage from the Veigar is impossible to get past. You have no fun when you play against a champ like that, when he is able to get those stacks up and able to find these kills like he has been this game. And, like, honestly, if I was looking at Yaoke Infinite, I don't know who specifically that I should just bolster. Like, Zach played well. He enabled his lanes. Veigar 703 at this point. Set is just ahead, has been all game, and now he's looking to end pretty much on his own accord. He does manage to take the Nexus turret there, and he's pushing for the inhib as well. Like, who do you give the kudos to? Who's the main reason that they are winning this game?
I mean, I would honestly say that Set did hold his own, but I still have to give it to the Zach, man. Like, I think he snowballed all of these lanes. Like, level 3 ganked mid, both last game and this game, with the Zach and just the amount of gank potential that he has. Not only did he get mid lane ahead, he tried to get bot lane ahead, and I will give him A for effort.
And this might be the last ditch engage for the side of FroggyStyleSun. They do manage to knock up some of the main contenders from Yaoke Infinite, but I don't think that's going to be enough as Ash finds a double kill onto FroggyStyleSun's main engage. But this is it burns when IP managing to find some of the kills. This might just be the Penta. No, he does manage to get some onto the Victor. Actually, Victor with the triple kill here, and he might just find the Quadra as all of Yaoke Infinite does fall here. The ace is given over to the Zeri. They do put a little bit of extra gold in her pocket, but man, oh man, when he started moving like that, I was like, that is so much damage coming out. And what a good spot for them to engage in that corridor where you have no problem getting jumped on as Zeri, because you can dash away or dash across the wall. And that is one win that you definitely needed. You want to revive the game, you want to keep this game going, that is how you do it.
And that was a huge throw. I don't think they could have thrown harder that fight. They tried to disrespect and limit test too hard. They gave them the lead that they needed. FroggyStyleSun recognized the weakness. They got spread out, and they instantly capitalized on it and punished them for it. And I think that was very beautifully played. Sure, a couple of them died, but Victor got a triple kill. I think it burns one IP got a 700 gold bounty, or no, shutdown from, I think it was the Set. Very huge misplay, and this probably turns the game around for them, because now if you look at Victor's mythic, it is upgraded. He has 3 items. He has the upgraded Leandres. What's the upgraded Leandres called?
I could not tell you. Let's see if we can pull
Let's
it up.
see. Leandre's
Leandre's
Lament.
Lament. Yes.
So
So
he has that. He has Void
as
Staff. He has Banshee
the
Spell.
the Zeri also has the upgraded Triforce and it's Infinity Force now. So we do see the major Ornn upgrades coming through. And I want to point out that Zeri there was taking Dragon, and you saw her health getting relatively low, and she auto-attacked the Scuttle Crab. Zeri's ability steals shields from her enemies, or the people that she is targeting. So when you get into these team fights, and Blitzcrank passive pops, or Set has his W up, and he gets that massive shield, or even in situations where shields come through, like for the Randuin's Omen on the Zac, you basically are giving more sustain, not in the form of like health, but in the form of the shielding to the Zeri, which now Ornn in a 1v4 situation, trying his best to live as the rest of FroggyStyleSun does collapse. They knock away the Zac, so this might just be a winnable game. Set and Ash here on the retreat. Ash trying to find a kill, but is not able to. Poppy finds the kill, and only to be shut down by the Set. Across the fight, Victor does find the kill onto the Blitzcrank. They are trying their best to keep Victor alive. Is the Karma. He's able to CC a little bit here. Karma able to keep the Zac off of the top of him, able to CC the Zac up multiple times, and Poppy is able to find a way to get out of there, at least to try to wrap back around. And this is low health bars on the side of Yaoke Infinite, and this might just be another kill coming over the top if Poppy can find something.
I think Poppy's just going to take a base here. But I see what they tried to do. They tried to bait for a Baron. Then they saw Ornn in the top side. They're like, okay, we have to engage on this and set up for a fight. And they tried to, but what they forgot to look at was the amount of damage. And I think they also forgot to think about this even like remotely as well. The amount of damage that is coming out from from It Burns When IP and from Victor. Because they both have upgraded mythics. They both just got huge shutdowns. So not only are they stronger because of the Ornn items, they have items to counter the players. And that is a very good thing to do in these types of games. Buy items to counter the enemy team, not to make yourself stronger. You know, I mean, that's, of course, what it's doing is make yourself stronger. But if you don't build to counter the enemy team, will not have enough power to come back from a game that you have thrown this far. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They're building the counter. They have the Void Staff for the Set and the Zac and the Blitzcrank. They have the just Zeri building normal, and Zeri as a champion, you know, even after she was gutted, is still disgusting when she gets fed. And that's exactly what they did. They fed the Zeri. And she is starting to show why you do not let this kind of champion get fed.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot out of it in Danny when he was able to pull off the pentakill this season in the LCS, and that Ash arrow does come over the top, but it only hits Ornn, and the CC is laid down there from the Victor. Not much tandem here from Yaoke Infinite, so you're not going to see a hardcore engage or anything of that sort, but we will see FroggyStyleSun retreating towards their base, and Yaoke Infinite going up towards Baron here.
Yeah, I think this is just a Baron call, but I do want to point out the amount of respect that they had for FroggyStyleSun after that last fight where they tried to engage on the Ornn. Normally, if that fight didn't happen and they didn't get ace when Victor and Zeri got fed like that, they would have instantly collapsed on him. But ever since, you know, he got that fed, oh my
goodness. The Baron does go over to the side of Yaoke Infinite, but now we're looking at some chase down here. Ornn does get slammed back onto the team, and that is going to be a huge chunk of health missing from the Karma. But that is a huge kill going over to FroggyStyleSun. I mean, I think Set had another shutdown there just a second ago, and now you've given it over, and possibly the drag. Drag is up in 12 seconds.
And this is so point for FroggyStyleSun.
Yeah, I believe that is a Hextech drag that is up next. For some reason the timer says Infernal drag, but yes, it is Hextech Soul, and should just be burned down. That was a really good R away by the Poppy. Maybe Victor gets caught out here. He does. Oh my goodness. CC layering just deletes him with the Vygar R, and that might be game. Victor's down for 50 seconds.
And that Baron damage is very, very strong. And I feel like they didn't realize just how strong Vhagar had gotten just by his items and just by his his passive, and just the amount of levels that he has on some of the enemy team is just huge. I think this is going to be a really big team fight.
Yeah, it's going to have to be, as FroggyStyleSun is here. Also from Frozen, managing to find the first kill on the pack, so that means your healing and your shielding is gone. It burns when IP is trying his best to find some kills here. He does whittle down many members of OK Infinite, and he is stealing what he can from the set and from the rest of the team, but unfortunately, that is going to be it, as all members of OK Infinite do manage to live here. Victor is up now, and he finds 3 kills, 4 kills. Can he find the penta onto the Zach? He said, please, I'm trying to keep my team alive. I am trying to win this game, and he finds the penta kill.
Huge
Holy God.
Very well played.
Oh my goodness, Victor, huge in the 36th minute.
And that is the thing about that Leandre's. The burn damage absolutely incinerated the lowest people. They should have realized that Victor was almost up. I mean, look at how fed Victor is. Look at his items. Look at his just raw damage that he is able to has been able to do in these previous couple of fights. Before that pentakill even happened, they should have sent the lowest HP players back, so that way this pentakill does not happen. Now, of course, they all should have recalled. This was a huge misplay on the side of OK Infinite, because now Victor is an unstoppable force. He is full build. He is 10-5, 319 CS in 37 minutes. I mean, he is the absolute win condition now.
I am just so shocked. I'm not even gonna joke. I thought that the game was over. I was sitting here writing it off, and Victor just comes off base. Off death. They bought enough time that he goes and his E immediately gets a triple kill. He is so fed now. He is 100% the win condition. And as we see the Divine Sunder get upgraded, and finally the Karma's Shirelia's getting turned into Requiem, this is a fully upgraded team. Ornn has no more upgrades he can give out. This is 37 minutes into the game. The gold really doesn't matter anymore, but even if it did, FroggyStyleSun has farmed so well. Almost 2 event horizons on their team for them that they're in the game. This is basically even footing, as bad as it looks.
Yeah, and I feel like OK Infinite didn't do enough to end the game, because I think that they forgot FroggyStyleSun does have the superior scaling team. And Set, while very strong and early in mid-game, he falls off later on when he's faced against a hyper-scaling team like this. So I feel like they didn't try to close out the game fast enough, and I feel like even though they, they team fought very well, they didn't, do enough. I don't think they could have done enough. And I think that because of that, and those horrible team fights, those two, that pentakill and the one before that where Victor and Zeri got very fed, that was a horrible turn of events, and they played it as worst and as bad as they possibly could. I don't think that I have seen anything like that bad, even in my solo campaigns. So I feel like that was... This is basically they're just doing it to themselves, because they have.
Well, this is Set going in for the engage. He does manage to find Ornn. He does chunk out Victor. Pretty difficult for them to engage, but Victor throws the R up. His damage is unmatched. Wingo even finding a kill here. Zach is going to be absolutely shredded, and Karma is flashing forward, not letting the Ashe get away. This is going to be another kill going over to the side of FroggyStyleSun, and now they're just going to march down mid. They have all 5 members alive. It's only Set. The timers are so long, and this is amazing. What a turnaround. FPL is going to take the tower. He knows how precious these plates are. This time is for his team. He knows if they can whittle it down right now, they are able to kill the Nexus, and there's still 20 seconds left on anyone from OK Infinite to get up. Victor does TP back in. The Nexus, the inhibitor will fall, and now it is Set trying to save the game, but he will be destroyed by FPL and the side of FroggyStyleSun, and just the Blitzcrank lives. The Blitzcrank lives with 1 HP, but no, he does, and so does the Nexus. Oh my my goodness, what a game!
Absolutely huge turnaround by FroggyStyleSun, and they will take this series with that game. And I have to say, my MVP, Victor, every single time around. He played that very well. That pentakill, even before that, he snowballed for his team. He made himself the win condition. He took that Fed enemy team and said, please come at me, the items that I have. I will melt you. And that's exactly what he did. And he won his team the game. And not only Victor, I would also have to give that one to Zeri as well, because that pentakill would not have happened if Zeri did not set that up. So I think that my EP would have to be split between Victor and Zeri. That was an equal effort put forth by It Burns One IP and Victor.
I can't even think right now. That ending, that turnaround, those team fights, when they got the upgrades, when they got the people across the team, where they just knew, hey, we win at this point. This is what I wanted to see from the league. This is what I wanted to see from the teams. This is an absolute banger of bangers. We've had non-stop good games as far as I'm concerned, going up throughout the weeks. And this is only week 2. This is only week 2. These are still the teams feeling each other out. This was Yaoke Infinite's first game of the season. And I am so blown away. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and FroggyStyleSun really showed them who they were messing with. Because think about this, right? The first game, they took the bag. Second game, they disrespected the amount of damage that Yaoke Infinite had the capability of putting out. So then Yaoke Infinite won. But as soon as FroggyStyleSun started to respect the damage and started to realize that, hey, we are a late game champion, team comp, we need to play for that. And as soon as they realized that, and as soon as they started doing that, things started to turn around. Yaoke Infinite got cocky, their egos got in the way, and they instantly regretted it, because as soon as that one bad team fight happened, I instantly called it. That is the game.
I am just so flabbergasted. We are going to throw it to a little bit of a break here, and then we will come back with our MVP interviews. I do believe that the consensus here was the mid lane and the ADC. Those are my picks, and I do remember that those were yours. So we will be back shortly. Please stick with us. We're going to hear their thoughts on the game, and then we will wrap it up for tonight's stream. Welcome back, guys. We have Fonzo and Dan as their discords are provided, but in-game names are Fonzo and It Burns When I Pee. I'm never gonna get over your username, my
Absolute
dude.
Thank you.
legendary.
Yeah, but the last game, wow, just absolute wow. Over the course of the series, both you guys performed very well. We saw the Ash, we saw Fonzo popping off pretty much in all three games. You had a little bit of a shaky game too. You were very much behind on the Ezreal. Do you want to let us know what that was like? What was going on in lane? How?
Let's just say that that's my first time playing Ezreal in 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a
Little
little
bit
rusty.
I
Yeah,
got you. I got you.
I
I was
farmed all that game though. I'll take that.
Yeah, you guys' farm was incredible. Like I think that kept y'all in game two for much longer than you should have been. We were commenting on it. You guys had Event Horizon, your counterparts, both of you guys, like nearly I think 2 out of 3 games. So like, good on you. That's a very tough task to do, especially, in 30 to 40-minute games, but still excellent showings from both of you guys. I'm just still amazed at how it ended, honestly.
So I have to know, right? The first and the last game, you guys performed at different times. But the second game, you guys could not have had a good time playing that game. And I feel like for me specifically, my mental would have deteriorated as that game went on. How did you guys keep your mentals intact moving forward with the third game and moving, like, even then, playing to scale and like keeping your mentals just rock solid? How did you guys manage that? Tell us.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Towards the last 10 minutes of the second game, we were kind of forefronting it because we knew it was almost over. So we played a little game where we were just trying to steal with objectives with like Ezreal ults and stuff. But no one on our team really tilts that easily. So we have a good time like scaling it out even when we're down and trying to play from behind. So I think that really helps our team when we have strong mentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to that, game 2, we're just trying to play for fun at the end. So, like, it put our mental back in the right place.
Yeah. So you guys pretty much, recognize that it was pretty much just done for, and you were just gonna keep your mental intact and kind of like, take a step back and just play for fun at that point and keep your mentals intact. I love that idea, knowing that a game is lost and just, playing to learn and playing to, have fun while you can. That is actually a really good idea. I need to start doing that solely. But that last fight in the third game, I know that it was you, Fonzo, that got the pentakill. I honestly have to give some credit over to It Burns When I Pee. That's the only thing I'm gonna ever refer to you as. I feel like you set that up perfectly. And the enemy team really got cocky and didn't realize the amount of damage that you were going to come out doing, that instant triple kill and then turning it into the pentakill. I feel like that was a big result of how Zeri played that last fight. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree to some degrees, but League's a team game. There's 5 players on each side. I just want to give my team the credit there too, because they gave me the space I was able to get peeled and do damage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you guys both, had very good showings, but I did want to talk a little bit about your team. We constantly see FBL play champs that allow him to enable the team or kind of like let him do his own little carry style, and pretty much the same with Wango up there in the top lane. But I wanted to talk to you about FBL's aggression level and Wango's aggression level, because we saw this specifically game 1, and then going into game 3, we saw it a lot more. FBL did get the initial kill in game 1, and then they immediately went topside and tried to get a dive onto the Kale early, and then Wango died for that, and basically when he got back to lane, he just kept trying and agging at the Kale, and that worked for him game 1 on the Fiora, able to take over the game a little bit and then utilize the side lanes, but it didn't really seem to come to fruition game 2 or 3. Is that more of his play style, or do you guys have like a certain way you like for him to play, or is he just comfortable playing like aggressive style champions and doesn't really change his play style based on his character selection?
So game one we knew like, or at least my goal was I want to play for the Fiora and my jungle. So I was just like ready to be there, and like if they want to go for plays, then I think that is the right move. Yeah, game two it was kind of rough. I think maybe the matchup wasn't there. I'm not sure what happened, but oh well.
Yeah, I
And
think
as
there's a certain
far as
degree of like a controlled chaos in our teams, especially towards the top side. And we could live and die by that, which is fine because we have the hyperscaling bot lane late game. So I
yeah,
think that's definitely like towards our play style, even if it doesn't work sometimes.
okay. Did he have? It felt like he was unfamiliar with Ornn or possibly the matchup that he was into. Was that a key point going into the third game, or was it just like, hey, we're just going to keep playing that chaotic style, and if it works, it works. If not, we know what we can fall back on?
We just started playing a couple weeks ago, so I won't act like I know everything that like they're trying to do in the game. Uh, yeah, I don't really know. It just worked out for us, and it worked out.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, you guys are still tied for first place in the league as it stands, and moving forward, you guys do play. Let's see. You guys play Five Monkeys, or no, excuse me. You guys have a bye week next week, and then the week after you play Five Monkeys. So I'm sure you guys will come out and support your sister team, who does play Coordinated Chaos next Tuesday. And they actually play Collective Horizon tomorrow night, which that should be an amazing game. Both of those teams in a pretty high spot right now, and obviously you guys play or know a lot of FroggyStyleSun, so you guys know that they're definitely ones that want to win as much as possible. Do you guys have any words of encouragement for them or anything you'd like to say about your upcoming opponents in the upcoming weeks?
You guys better pray to get lucky because we're gonna smash you guys.
Hey, I like that. The friendly, not so friendly banter. We're going to give you guys a second to do any shout outs or anything you'd like to do. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream as it is very late. But you guys go ahead. What would you like to say?
Just shout out to the team and the org for picking us up. They have great support, and for the rest of the team that can't be here, you guys are the MVP of the series.
I feel that. Any thoughts on your part, Fonzo?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we are going to wrap it up here. We appreciate everybody for coming out tonight. Reminder that we are doing a giveaway at 500 followers, and we will be back tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern. Same time we started today for FroggyStyleSun versus Collective Horizon. With that, good night, everybody, and good dreams.